Hello, and welcome to episode 442 of the Awesome Comics Podcast, a very festive place where the small press makes one hell of a big noise. My name is Vince Hunt, and joining me, as always, is the creator of the comic series Vanguard, Dan Butcher.
Hello.
And he's as tasty as a mince pie. It's Tony Esmond.
I fucking love Christmas. I keep telling you, don't I? But it's my favourite time of year. I get very excited. I can't sleep on Christmas Eve because I get excited.
I don't know why I'm feeling more Christmassy this year than I have in years.
You watched Miracle on 34th Street, didn't you?
Yeah. Fucking
one of my favourites.
Dickie Hats for the win. Yeah.
I do like the original as well.
Yeah.
Like the black and white original.
I was watching Trading Places, which is a great
good one.
Yeah, that's a great we're going through the whole Christmas movie watching at the moment.
It's a Wonderful Life. That's another favourite of mine.
There's a large amount of exposed breasts in Trading Places, which I feel is an element that's missing from many.
Very impressive. I haven't seen it since I was about 14, and I still remember one of them.
Yeah.
Or a pair of them. Put it that way.
Yeah. But
there's an element that would definitely bring Home Alone up a notch.
Oh my God. Welcome to the show, everyone. If you're listening to this on the regs, or this is a new episode, obviously this is a bit of a festive episode. Christmas 2023 is just around the corner, and we're feeling in a positive mood. We want to spread the joy of Christmas and Christmas comics. And,
I've done all my shopping now. Posted all my presents.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Wow.
Done all right.
Wow. I've got a couple more things to send in the post. Not like flaming dog poo or anything.
Better hurry up, babes.
No.
Yeah, but the thing is, people are still, even if they get it after Christmas, it's still sent with love. Do you know what I mean? So that's all I've got to say. And
those Polaroids won't take themselves, will they?
Exactly. Cost of printing these days. Whew. Anyway, so yeah, we're feeling in a good mood. We're on the is eggnog a thing over here in the UK?
I think so. I have to admit, I've never had eggnog.
I've never had it.
Yeah. What is it? Is it just eggs and nog? What is a nog?
Yeah, you mix a nog up and get it eggy.
Yeah, and kind of reaching for an egg-based drink is not sort of like high on the list of things to do.
Scrambled egg coffee. It's not for me. Dan
just has his eggs like raw. He just cracks them into his mouth.
Yeah,
he doesn't even crack them. Swallows them.
Yeah.
That and Kinder eggs, he swallows them all.
Oh God, yeah, you want, yeah.
Then shit out the completed toy.
It's worse than standing on Lego, shitting out a Kinder toy. What's that phrase you used earlier? It's like a fucking rabbit's nose or something.
Yeah.
Yes, that is. Anyone who wants to read something that would make them chuckle is the latest Viz annual.
Guests on the show previously, quite a few,
and very reasonable at the moment. Only costs you a few buff. Dan's new phrase.
So down with the street,
down with the street.
Is it buff or buffs? I can't remember. Buff. All right, okay.
Is it buff or buff?
Buff. BOFF.
Wow.
Yeah, buff.
Wow. We're so
Drop
trendy.
20 buff.
The thing is, right, there are other podcasts in the game, and they don't stay.
They don't talk about buffs, do they?
They don't stay up to date with the latest slang and the lingo. But we're down with the kids and the buffs. What?
The kids you never see in the comic shop, unfortunately.
No.
We never see them. I don't know where they go, these kids. They used to read comics once, didn't they? Remember?
None of that talk, because it's kind of been too much this week.
It's been a fucking overload this week. Fuck it. I've deleted it off my phone. Fuck all that shit.
And
I'm swearing too much already. I'm going to stop swearing.
You can swear as much as you want, because it's fucking Christmas episode. And we're going to have a good fucking time.
I had to do
comics.
I had to do a presentation this week, and a couple of people were on. Big shout out to Dave R. A couple of people were on. They couldn't get in because the traffic was crap, so they were on Teams. I said, "Oh, can you hear me, Dave?" And he went, "Yeah." I said, "Thanks, babes," and got a little round of applause from the audience. Just calling in babes. There you go.
Excellent.
He likes that. Yeah.
Nice. And we like talking about comics, so we're going to do this. We've got a couple of things we're going to talk about this week as our little topic. We have picked a Christmas issue to talk about. We did announce it on the Slack community, I believe, which one we're talking about.
Yeah.
And we will reveal all soon enough. But
Alan Purdy's a big fan of this book.
Yeah.
I did an NIA with him about this character.
Does this character, we'll talk about him when we get to it, does it have a definite end, the character?
Yeah.
Okay. I suspected as much.
Spoilers.
Interesting. And we're going a little bit Charles Dickens, but it's not the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. We're talking
Dan Dickens.
Yeah. That's my performer name.
Don't overdose, sweetheart. What?
But we're going to be talking about some things you should check out and some positive things you should check out from the comics past, present, and maybe what we're looking forward to in the future. So, as well as that, we're going to have some awesome things to recommend at the end of the show as well. So
well, I've got something to talk about, not so much recommend, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
We're going to be positive, though, aren't we, Dan?
Yeah. Oh, yes, totally.
Or if not, just funny.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be positive. I am being positive.
Yeah.
I feel very Christmassy and uplifted. And
no word of a lie, listeners. We record this on Zoom for a bit of behind the scenes. We do this on Zoom. We have to turn the cameras off because if we look at each other when we record, we'll just end up laughing all the time or putting each other off. But we do a bit of pre-record. How's your week been? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Dan's the only one of us wearing a Christmas hat. So
Christmas hat. Yeah.
He's put us to shame, hasn't he, Tony?
I'm not even wearing Christmas socks.
You got Christmas in your heart. That's all that counts.
I've got like a lovely warm feeling. Like when you turn the seat warmers on in a car and it feels like you've done a wee.
Yeah.
I've got that sort of feeling today.
Good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I always do that if I'm giving someone a lift. I always sneakily turn it on and you can see them sort of moving about in their seat thinking, well, I've done a wee.
Yeah. A horrible feeling.
Yeah.
It's nice to start with, isn't it?
Yeah. So, then it gets a bit
Then
too
it gets
hot.
cold.
Hang on, we're talking about the seat warmers, or you're talking about doing a wee? Anyway, comics. That's what we're here for. So shall we kick off, gents, with something very festive to get people looking forward, because Christmas is about a week away, isn't it?
We've got a gift opening later as well. I'm very excited about it. Vince has seen it. Dan's going to open the gift I got him live
on air.
Yeah.
Last year we did the X-Men issue where Kitty Pryde's in the X Mansion over Christmas and
sort of Aliens rip-off. Yeah.
What's the racer game? It was not the Brood.
The Brood.
Is it?
It is the Brood, isn't it?
It is
I
the
think it's
Brood.
a Brood.
Yeah,
Is it? Can't remember now.
I think it was the Brood, wasn't it, in that issue? Go back
That's
to our
weird,
last
because-
Christmas episode if you haven't listened.
Go back
to
a
it,
year.
and you want even more Christmas ACP.
Depending who writes them,
Yeah.
they're gonna go through the Brood like kind of knife through butter, and then in this instance, it's a real problem with one of them.
Get the Brood get everyone pregnant.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a bit shady that.
Yeah.
But we picked out another one. Tony, I believe you're the one that sort of brought this one up, and we immediately were like, yes.
I thought
Yes.
it both appealed to the sense of Christmas and also appealed to our sense of fucking aboutery.
Yeah. Because
So we chose Hitman issue 22.
January 9. Well, cover is January 98.
8.
Yeah, 98.
Perhaps.
When DC Comics had the bullet. I missed that bullet.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't have.
Did you read any of these when they came out, guys? Or
I have never.
Some of them.
I've never read a Hitman book until until this.
I've got the first. I think I got the first trade, and I read a few issues after that.
one where he throws up on Batman? That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the crossover? Bitman and all those characters.
Bloodlines.
Bloodlines. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where he came. So he came from I'm going to say the Demon Annual.
Yeah. There's a few winners, quite a lot of stinkers in that.
Yeah. He's not very affectionately thought of, probably apart from this and maybe one other. Yeah.
Because it's a strange one, like this kind of character coming out of that. It's kind of like the Venom, the symbiote coming out of Secret Wars. It's quite a convoluted origin if you go.
He's an anti-hero as well, isn't he?
Yes.
In a way, there's a certain boys-esque quality to this character in a way, isn't there?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So let's break this issue down, like from the very beginning, which is the cover. Let's start with.
I love this cover.
The cover is amazing, and if you knew what we're gonna talk about, please read along with us. And certainly, if you don't, as we said, DC Hitman issue 22, and you can't miss it because this cover is a picture of sort of a store Santa crying with a gun in his being put in his mouth.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of things when you first initially see the image, as I did, it immediately strikes you straight away because you don't see the little details. So it just looks like a Santa, someone forcing a pistol into a Santa's mouth, which is immediately a striking image, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, this is a noticeable comic from across the room, isn't it? Let's face it. Yeah.
When you look at the cover a little bit more, you can then see it's the little details that give it away, like the Santa has brown eyebrows. There's little hooks on the edges of on an edge of the beard. Fake beard. I think the thing that sort of caught me, that I was like, what? This is a bit that doesn't make sense. The first thing that made me think it wasn't Santa wasn't those bits. It was the moustache bits, kind of.
Yeah.
Been pulled apart, isn't it?
Been pulled apart and torn, and I just thought it's.
You can see the sort of stubble at the top lip where the fake beard's coming away,
and that sort of led me in to look at the rest of the image. Really,
John McCrea. We should give a shout to the first as well.
Yes,
John McCrea.
He signed it, Dr. McCrea. Is that
Yeah, I don't know why that is.
I don't know.
Because in the book, as we'll say, here's the lineup: Garth Ennis is the writer, John McCrea is the pencils, Steve Pugh inks, Willie Schubert letters, Carla Feeney colours, Heroic Age colour separations, Peter Tomasi associate editor, Dan Raspler editor, and Hitman was created by Ennis and McCrea. So I think this is all John McCrea on this cover. John,
I'm not sure actually now. It's
maybe DR is a name.
Yeah, it might be DR and McCrea. I don't know. We'd have to look it up. I thought I did look it up and it said John McCrea, but yeah, it just got me second guessing it now. But yeah. The other thing with that, man, is I wouldn't want my teeth rubbing up against the gunmetal.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Imagine the noise, like fingers down a chalkboard, isn't it? You know.
And also, it looks like the teeth aren't exactly the most stable as well. Like they're almost a bit loose.
Yeah. On the DC fandom, it does list just John McCrea as the artist on the cover.
Oh, I think that's what I looked at. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
But that might not be correct. I don't want to kind of say
It's a simple concept. Very powerful. There's snow not covering the image, which is quite interesting. There's lots of snow in the background, but there's only a few flakes in front of the image, which I think is quite important, because I think if you add more, even if you want to be more realistic and put snow in front of that person, it completely masks off, doesn't it?
Yeah, this is what comics can do, isn't it?
Yeah.
If this was a real image, of course, there would be snow between the camera and us and him, But because it's a comic, you can do that. You can bring the face forward, can't you, in the snow? Yeah.
I love the texture of that sort of Santa hat as well. Looking at it, because the line on the face and the hand holding the gun, so crisp, and the shadows are so sharp.
The blue of the glove I like as well. I think that works really well.
Yeah.
Almost
gives it a sort of Batman-esque edge to
Hitman's power set. He's kind of like got X-ray eyes, hasn't he? He can kind of see through. But apart from that, he's just a regular chap.
I think there's some telepathy, isn't there, that pops up occasionally.
Oh yeah, you can kind of sort of read snatches of people's thoughts. I
think so. Yeah.
God, I'm pulling on the old memory here. I can't remember.
I read this monthly because it was just, I liked Ennis, I liked McCrea. It was a cool sort of alternative DC title to read, so I was buying it monthly. And
how many issues did it have, by the way?
It only ran 60, and then there's a couple of issues where it's a crossover with Justice League, which I won't ruin it but something happens to him.
Only ran 60.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, it's like a Vertigo book, really, that happens in the DC universe, and you do get crossovers. He does crossover with, for example, he's in Resurrection Man and a couple of other things. But yeah, he was just classic Garth Ennis, funny.
Yep. It's set in Gotham,
sarcastic.
Isn't it?
So it's in the sort of I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically Hell's Kitchen for Gotham. So it's kind of the Irish area. Because you can tell from this story, it's sort of there's an Irish Catholic element to it, isn't there? They even go to a carol concert at one point.
Those sort of pubs and taverns and things like that. Yeah, definitely got that.
Yeah.
I think one of the last things to mention about the cover, which huge fans of, this is a conceptual cover, because I will say, conceptually it ties in with the story that's going in the book, but it's not really an accurate depiction.
Nope. No, that doesn't happen in the book.
And we will describe why that is. I mean, there is Santa getting their comeuppance.
But this cover is designed to get people to pick it up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Which is what a cover should be doing.
Tonally, it's Hitman.
Yes, totally.
If you look at the previous issue, was just a close up of Hitman's face, and the issue after it, I think, is a close up of the SAS badge, something like that. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
So they do use that iconography, that that sort of limited thing on a cover type thing,
Okay.
which is a little bit more common back then, I think.
Yeah, I think then you didn't really get variations, did you? Cover variations. It was like year one cover and that's it. Whereas that's kind of pretty much unheard of nowadays.
Yeah, there's no variants, for this.
Five
Yeah, no,
different
wouldn't have
fucking
been.
variants.
So we're looking at like about 25 years later. Okay, this is a 25-year-old comic.
Is that what it is?
I
Wow.
think that's what I got. Yeah. I think I've got my maths is right. My last question for the cover. Can you do that cover now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
You should be able to.
I'd say you better get away with
True.
It might come across a little retro, but yeah. I think they should. I think the question more important is they should be doing that cover now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does DC or Marvel do that now?
I can't think of an example.
No, something to think about, and certainly listeners, get in touch with us. Let us know what you think about that. I think there's no yes or no answer really because we haven't seen it. Perhaps because it's been done so well here. But interesting thoughts. But the book itself, Tony, do you want to?
Yeah. So it starts as. So what they do, they use an effect. Everything is Christmassy in this, in a way, but twisted in a McCrea and Ennis style, isn't it? With that sort of super violence. But it opens with like a classic scroll, like you would get in a Dickens comic or a Scrooge comic sort of thing. And the story is told about this dude. He's called Bob. He works at the Gotham nuclear plant, obviously, which the Gotham nuclear plant seems to have a lot of nuclear reactors that are just open, that you can just fall into. And see, Bob hated Christmas because it was nice. He's not a big lover of Christmas, Bob, is he? And he's a janitor there. And Santa Claus runs in, and he falls into this thing that's got a big arrow into a hatch. It just so happens
one of his co-workers, isn't it, dressed up like Santa?
That's it. Yeah.
There's also the signs that do not fall in for fear of death.
Yeah.
And he comes out of that, and he's transformed almost immediately into this sort of like a skinny Hulk almost, isn't he? With glowing eyes, and he jumps up onto the platform, and he wants to be a superhero, doesn't he, Bob? But he sucks the life out of a co-worker, and one of the other ones says, "I don't know, Bob, but those look like supervillain type powers to me," which sends Bob immediately on the course of deciding to be a supervillain. At that point, he dresses.
All the things are in rhyme, aren't they? The kind of the scroll that was kind of the narration boxes are all kind of rhyme.
Yeah.
It does kind of wink at the reader because when it kind of comes out of the radioactive tank, it sort of says like you would have thought this had been lingering death, pain, and horror, but no, it's not.
Yeah,
this is a comic. This is a comic.
There's one I sent you guys, wasn't there? Was there one that I said somebody should read it out?
Yes. Oh, yeah, we'll do that.
I've got. Shall I read it out now? So it's
okay.
This is the place where my work will begin," said Bob, with a smile that was filled up with sin. "Hundreds of citizens to go to them all, and I shall go in and irradiate all. I'll irradiate lassies, irradiate lads. I'll irradiate mums and irradiate dads. I'll irradiate children and people who smell. Irradiate deaf, dumb, and blind folks as well. And I'll show everyone that Christmas is hell."
Yep.
That's fucking great.
Yeah. I mean, if you haven't guessed already, this is the most wonderful black comedy satire. Like a Christmas comedy satire with elements of, obviously violent elements. Gotham's kind of there. Whenever you see the name Gotham, it almost pops out like it's luminous because this could kind of be anywhere. I did notice, McCrea, you definitely shout out to the Simpsons, the people that work in the nuclear power plant.
Ah, right, okay.
Mr. Burns is quite clearly the bloke that runs the power plant.
Yeah.
And
it's funny because even the Santa costume's got like a radioactive symbol on it. like
Yeah.
that's branded for the place.
Yeah.
I like the fact that Batman makes a little cameo as well, doesn't he?
Yes.
So it's children were handing out seasonal wreaths, and Batman was kicking out seasonal teeth.
I loved that's my favourite line, I think. Yeah.
And then we go to Noonan's, which is did you notice what street that's in?
What
Peckinpah
No.
Street. So
Okay.
it's just a wild bunch. You
Yeah,
can
yeah,
tell
yeah.
the sort of what type movies are these, And
It's interesting that there's a shot in the page after that where it's like a big one at the bar.
I've got a question about that.
Yeah, there's characters in there, isn't there?
Yeah, so quickly say that. So we're at the bar with Hitman and Nat the Hat, who's a regular in it, who's this sort of Hitman buddy of his. They're always fucking in trouble. They're always got no money. He's always got that stupid hat on, and they're always literally just breaking each other's balls, as they say in America, But like you say, Dan, the following page there's a big scene. I put good money on that being the creative crew on the left there.
On the top
I
left.
think that might
top-
even be
top
Steve.
left.
I'm going to say Steve Dillon's one of them.
Yeah. I'm wondering, do you see the one with the Baptist with the grey t-shirt? Do you reckon that's the lady who
Could be
Yeah.
the colorist lady. Yeah.
Yeah.
the colorist?
Yeah, because
Carla
I
Feeney.
think that's McCrea on the left. I think that's Ennis in the middle.
And McCrea's dark haired, isn't he?
I would have thought
So
it'd
I'm
been
going to say on the
Ennis
left is Ennis. Yeah.
middle McCrea. But is
See,
The
that
chap
looks like
below
Steve
them.
Dillon
No,
to
no,
me.
no,
You see?
okay? The chap below, is that bloody? Oh man, I just had his name. It slipped me. The bigger chap with the glasses and the moustache. What's the?
Oh, not
I
sure.
can't remember. He's
There's a lot of comics people who look a bit like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
yeah. He's an editor at Marvel. It's kind of slipped me now.
Archie Goodwin.
No.
No.
Oh
Any-
shit! Doesn't matter. We'll move on.
Okay. So we're at the bar and they're sort of complaining about they haven't got a job and they get a bit of work, don't they? They go to the was it St. Killian's Orphanage fundraiser, sort of choir practice. And while they're there, he's got a pager, isn't he? I think it's a pager, isn't it? Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. God,
He's got a
That's-
pager. I used to have a
that's-
pager. No, it's a phone,
no, it's
actually.
phone,
No,
it's
it's a
phone.
phone. Yeah. And they get a job to go and kill Nuclear Santa, don't they?
Mm.
And Nuclear Santa is sort of running about killing people. And literally, they spend a couple of pages sort of ramming him with a car, don't they?
Yeah, it's kind of well. They initially grabbed that like a Santa who's like just an actual legit Santa just collecting money, and it kind of reveals Tommy's got like a kind of one of those detectors that can kind of detect
The
radioactivity.
Geiger counter, yeah.
Guy can't. That's the word I'm fucking desperately groping for. And they try it and it goes, oh, no, that ain't him. And it's like I thought it was supposed to go click. And as they go past the mall, they go, oh, look, here it is, and it's clicking away. And then like a security guard's body like lands on the bonnet of their car. And yeah, he's in there.
Good.
The thing, I mean, this was my first experience with Hitman, the character. I mean, you see these images of this character that is obviously looking very, dark glasses, trench coat, sort of cool. You kind of think you got an impression of what they're like. Immediately, when I was reading this, I was struck by the fact that he's more like a sort of a blokey bloke. And like when that body hits the bonnet of the car, both him and his buddy go, ah! They react to it, which isn't really a hard man thing to do, is it? To scream when a body hits a car.
Very justified. You'd be like,
Yeah, they're a comedy double act for a lot of this book.
Yeah.
They really are.
One thing that the Hitman are loving the design is like he's wearing sunglasses all the time and they're all black all the time. There's no highlights on them, anything.
No.
It's
Yeah,
solid
it's nice.
black.
Yeah.
When he takes
He's got
them off,
no.
Vince,
He's
got
got
no
just
eyeballs.
black eyes, isn't he?
Yeah,
If
they're
he
not
takes
black.
them off. Yeah.
Yeah. And when I mean, it immediately just sort of, it's almost like the Hitman himself isn't the person that sort of takes down this Santa in this moment in time. What's his buddy's name again?
Nat.
Nat. He's the one driving the car, so he just absolutely he hits him once, drives him into a wall, and then absolutely sort of sandwiches him against another wall. The car itself, one thing I did notice, even though it folds up when they sort of ram him into a wall, on the next panel, bonnet looks lovely.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fine
it's
now.
fine.
Yeah,
It's
fine.
fine.
kind of movie logic, isn't it?
Yeah, when they reverse, his body's lying there, and there's almost like bits of him everywhere. They say, "Who ordered pizza?" That's cold.
He's absolutely fucked. He's got his bone sticking out of his forearm, and he's like laying on the floor, bleeding out. His legs are mangled.
But
missing half his teeth.
There is a darkness to this that I like. You know, they do just do their job and assassinate him at the end.
Yeah. I mean, he does sort of go, "Oh, I've changed my mind, I swear," and it's the weakest,
Yeah, they say, "Oh, you pulled the line out of Blade Runner," don't they? Is what the narration says.
He's like bleeding on the floor, and they walk up to him both with their handguns, and he goes, "Look, Jesus, I just can't shoot me like a dog in a freaking alleyway. I messed up. I didn't mean it. Listen, really, I changed my mind. I swear it. I love Christmas." It's been slaughtering its way through a shopping mall.
Yeah, but Tom,
and then he says "show mercy," but just a big dollar sign appears over him, which is what they're seeing.
Yeah,
they just see him as like a wage day, don't they? You know.
But Tommy and Nat had no mercy for Bob, not with him being a 10,000 job and about to be shot full of hollow point holes. He at last learned the cost of a venomous soul. "I've seen things you people wouldn't believe." Yet a Blade Runner fan was this miserable heel, and Rutger's great speech from the end he did seal. And then they just fill him.
Enough already, and just unload both of them. Unload on
this. This is a weird one. I really like this comic. I really, we're big fans of Ennis. Somebody would fucking complain about this on Twitter, wouldn't they, if this happened now in a mainstream DC book?
Well, everyone's always complaining.
Yeah, everyone. Well, that's all they do, isn't it? Yeah. Why isn't this a Vertigo book? Why isn't this, a black whatever book? But yeah, I think it works perfectly. It's a counterpoint to superhero comics. They're not automatically meant to be good people.
It's a wonderful sort of one and done Christmas comic, which is what we talk about, like these sort of issues. Sometimes they break up things, don't they? But I think this probably worked in the as you were reading it, Tony. This worked within the
brilliantly. I mean,
it's part
not
of
everything can be part of a fucking 25-part story.
Yeah,
you just want this, don't you? You just want to read this at Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of like you would pick this up on a whim. Maybe you see the Father Christmas on the cover, and you wouldn't know need to anything about this, and you could be in.
So I think this reason we get Christmas annuals, isn't it? So you can have something to read at Christmas, and this is almost the same reason, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tommy gets stitched up at the end by Nat, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Because they mention how his current girl he's seeing is an ex-police officer, so he gives Tommy a present.
Junior cop or something, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like a sort of junior cop toy with working handcuffs, and then you see him leaving the bar, running after him.
And it's that sort of like, it's like you watch that Christmas episode of a TV show, and you can imagine it freeze framing as he's running out of the bar, that kind of thing. And also, just Garth Ennis's writings always on point. I was surprised with the sort of the limerick at the beginning because I hadn't really read him do anything like that, but always a huge fan of his work. And just the dialogue itself when they're just talking about the job, and that says some year, and Hitman says, "Oh yeah, start off with Green Freaking Lantern, then Jacques Cousteau meets Night of the Living Dead, then Demons from Hell and Cat Babe, and we finish up whacking Chris Chemo the night before Christmas. 1997 was the year God discovered crack."
This is a great recommend, this series as well. It's 60 issues. You can probably get it in hardbacks, I guess. Read it on the app. So it's just a fun. There's a few sort of crossover type things go on, but you can read this. The thing back then with DC Comics, you could just find a series and read it, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Try that with DC now.
I do like that the last page. It gives the final bit of rhyming to finish off the comic.
Yeah.
Which it could be evergreen. What's written on that last page?
Shall I read it out for our lovely listeners?
Go for it. Go for it.
After all of the violence and everything, like people literally being melted in this book, and a Santa being crushed to death and then shot. But where is the moral in this, you may cry? Why, sitting in front of your face, I reply. We don't need some moaner who grinches and whines that Christmas is merely a big waste of time. For Christmas is whizzo. Christmas goes ping. Christmas makes people feed squirrels and sing. And no matter your race or your class or your creed, isn't that something we all really need? One day in the year painted up in bright colours. One day when we're groovy and cool to each other. And sure, you can grumble, but any who would are missing out something incredibly good. Anyone bitching and moaning instead might get two in the back of their miserable head. Merry Christmas, everyone.
It's lovely, isn't it?
that little soliloquy is kind of played out over the dead body of the
Yeah.
Santa. They've shot his
Going
missing leg.
in bullet holes.
Yeah. And even like the top of it, like Hitman's going, "Why I oughta."
As Nate drives away in the car.
So it is a sort of farcical Looney Tunes Christmas kind of issue, but it was a real tonic, I think, reading this.
It's good.
Totally.
Great choice.
Fun. Yeah, great fun. A quick read, but still plenty of words.
What's your thought on the art style then? We haven't really talked about the art much, have we? Apart from the glasses.
I think it's absolutely pitch perfect.
He lends himself to the dark comedy, I think, doesn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
McCrea.
Totally.
Yeah. He doesn't. I mean, in this, there's not really too much of breaking out of panels, or I mean, there's certainly some interesting panel layouts. But it's just spot on.
He draws it and someone colours it. It's not like you get a lot of comics these days that it seems to me that like the colouring does a lot of the heavy lifting. Not in this case.
No,
I think the inker. Did I say it was Steve Pugh? Who was it? There?
Yeah, Steve Pugh. Pugh. He's good.
A good amount of credit as well. I think because there's a lot of solid blacks, as we know with McCrea.
I've got a couple of pages. His art, his full pencils and
wouldn't
inking.
serve like a more rendered art colouring style wouldn't serve this comic at all. The way it is in relatively flat colours, that's what it's all about. It's to spend a lot of time like doing gradients and shading on it is not necessary.
Did I tell you the story about picking up some art from John McCrea for someone I knew? I tell you the story?
No.
So I picked up so a geezer I work with, who's a listener. He said, "Oh, can you are you going to MCM? Could you pick some art up for me?" I'm like, "Oh, fucking all right." So he paid for a couple of Hitman pages from John, so I went and picked them up. And then he said, "I'll come in on Monday and pick them up in the office, grab them off you in the office." So I was in the office, and we had an A3 printer photocopier, so I photocopied it, right, and I sellotaped the photocopy to the wall to the side of a cabinet in the office. And he came in and went, "Oh, we put it up on the wall. Look, let me just carefully tear it down," and ripped it in half as I taught it. And the bloke's fucking what?
Absolutely stitched him up.
Fucking hell, brutal.
I think I don't know whether John's kind of typecast a bit because of Hitman. He's that demonic comedy style. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's kind of like you associate that art style so much with this kind of writing and
tone.
You kind of. Well, that's all you can do, and obviously that's not all we can do.
It's not. No, he's done other stuff, but I think he's not very well at the moment, John, is he? I think long COVID or something.
I think he was
trying to get well soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I recommend it, guys. If this is the sort of thing you see some cheap, hardbacks of, it's worth getting. It's like a Vertigo run. It's strange that it's not a Vertigo book in many ways, isn't it? But you could get it in so many hardbacks, and it'd be a fun read.
Yeah,
definitely.
I was just zooming back to the first panel. There's the shop on the street. It doesn't date it a little, but you can guess the time frame. There's like Tomb Raider 3.
Right.
I can't make out what it's kind of like a little bit martial, like Kevin O'Neill, where you got like these little things written in the background.
Yeah,
and
a
it's
little bit.
Like it's something cat. The shop is called Capo Crap.
Cap Crap or something.
Cap
isn't it?
Crap. Yeah. But that's throughout. You see little things written in the background, which is a nice little touch.
Yeah, I like that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's a great pick, T.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah,
a
very fun, festive, and very awesome comics podcast style.
It is very much so. Yeah.
So,
and we got a friend of a friend who suggested he come on. Do you remember who was that? Was it Kieran?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah,
we should get John on, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic. We'll reach out
totally.
to him.
Yeah, he's totally one of those artists on the list. Whenever I've seen him at a convention, he's just like the loveliest.
Yeah, he's very friendly. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Should we do our gift opening?
Sure.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
Yes.
So because Vince and I are children, we've opened our presents already. But
I've got a modicum of self-control.
Dan hasn't opened his, so I've sent him a present. But I've told Vince what it is, so we're excited to see what he thinks.
So we're going to do this right now.
Yeah, John, do that now.
Yeah. I've got the box right here. Okay. I'll have to describe what I'm doing. Opening the Amazon box.
Other
the
places are
top.
available.
Yeah.
I can see a 62 and a star. What is this?
Oh.
Wow, nice. It's a G.I. Joe Classified series figure, and it's Bazooka. This is fucking awesome.
We can't say everything we said about this, but we did. I think Vince and I did agree. It looks like you with a moustache.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
We can probably say some of it off air.
Oh man,
Yeah.
thank you. That is awesome.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that, man.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
great.
So-
They're great figures. Those classified ones.
Yeah.
It shows that my phone is basically stalking me because it came up as a recommend. I went, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I better buy this for Dan.
I'll have some of that. Yeah, oh man, that's lovely.
And
Coming on the back of the G.I. Joe thing I was doing. I can't remember the fucking name of it now.
Yeah,
Jovember.
Jovember. There you go. Good.
And obviously, I already opened mine from Tony, and here's some sound effects. As I rip open the paper, that was good, wasn't it? Does that make you think I actually ripped the paper?
Don't rip it.
Oh wow!
Oh.
Oh wow! Look at this. Actually, I could probably fucking kill someone with this. And
Oh, is it a big old thick one? Is it?
it's
That one?
oh
Yeah.
no, it is.
Who were?
This is something I'm thoroughly looking forward to reading with a nice hot chocolate over those cold Christmas nights. I don't know why I started saying it like I was listening to jazz. This is the Usagi Yojimbo saga, book 1 from Dark Horse. Is this the Dark Horse ones? I believe this is the.
Well, it started off at various different places. It's been like, I think, Mirage, Fantagraphics, IDW, and Dark Horse, and probably somewhere else. But this is, I think, Dark Horse have got it back now.
Yeah.
So
I think.
yeah.
I think this is. Oh, it says from 1993 to 1998. Okay, so it's 1993 issues as well then. Basically, there's just an awful lot of Usagi that I've got to read.
See, I'll get you to read it eventually. I've been bullying you to try and read it.
Is
for
that like the
fucking
really
ages.
early stuff?
Not the super early stuff, the sort of
Okay.
black and white revolution stuff when it was in what was the anthology it was in? Oh, you know. But yeah, he appeared in a couple of anthologies for it.
I think this is when Dark Horse got it and just started running with it, wasn't it?
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it says collecting Usagi Yojimbo Volume 2. So that must be the Volume 1 must have been his pre-Dark Horse years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyone correct me on this, by the way?
Yeah, I think you're right, man. Yeah, because he appeared as a backup in a short story thing, and in a slightly different style. It was more a sort of fatter-faced rabbit, and then we had some space Usagi, and then we went on to this. I think, yeah.
As it says on the back of it, in this compilation collecting Dark Horse's Usagi Yojimbo paperbacks into a deluxe format. So it's Volume 2, number 1 to number 16, and Volume 3, number 1 to number 6. Basically, just
That's a good amount of comics, isn't it?
yeah.
There you go.
And you know,
They're very readable, man. You'll devour that.
you just flick to any page, and it's just glorious.
Black and white, that one, is it, or colour?
Yeah, black and white as well, which
Right. Okay.
is more appealing to me.
Yeah. I used to read it in black and white. It is in colour now. It's still good, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it loses anything by being black and white.
No.
Especially
Yeah,
when
that's how I'm
there's
used to
like the snow ones, when he's kind of fighting in the snow. It's just so evocative of actually being there. And
There's a big cast that you'll begin to realise, like ninjas are bats, and it's great, man. So
he
good.
gets Jen, the rhinoceros.
I like
bounty
him.
hunter.
Yeah.
And what's the blind swords pig? Who's
Yeah, he's in it recently, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah, there's like a whole big cast. You discover slowly as you go along, but yeah.
But that's another thing though. When people die, that's it. They're gone.
Yeah.
Like
Now-
they're character death.
He's a
Yeah.
fucking beast as well. He's lethal.
Yeah.
He may be a rabbit, but you watch, he's pretty much unbeatable.
Yeah. Now, for those Usagi Yojimbo, obviously we know the name. We may have
Steve Sims, shout out to him.
Yeah, we may have seen cartoons, got action figures. I mean, the dude had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figure, like from the classic.
Yeah.
He's had a few.
Yeah.
He's had a few.
loads. He's had loads.
He did his
And
own
also-
cartoon recently, isn't he?
Yeah, he's also crossed over with the Turtles quite a few times, hasn't
Yeah, there's whole trades of that.
he?
Yeah.
And so people may know this basically a samurai rabbit, what it looks like. But I'm just going to read the top of the back of the book. Gents, feel free to correct me when I murder some of these names.
No.
For those
Go on.
people out there who don't really know what the story is, The close of 16th century Japan is regarded as the age of civil wars, as feudal lords fought amongst themselves for land and power. It was during the Battle of Adachigahara that the samurai Miyamoto Usagi lost his lord. Is that Mifune or Mifune?
Mifune, yeah. It's named after Toshiro Mifune.
Yeah. To the armies of Lord Hikiji. With no clan, Usagi now walks the warrior pilgrimage, searching for harmony. Considering you just said that he absolutely murks a lot of people, I'm guessing harmony is few and far between.
Yeah, there's a little symbol when he kills someone, a little skull appears above them.
Yeah.
Oh,
what's interesting is when he first starts, he's like fine with killing people. He's like, it's just what I've got to do. And as he matures, he's sort of like, I wish I didn't have to do this. And he's not quite so kind of, he just does it, but he's not quite like as much up for it as when he was a kid. Is that right, T? You'd say like he matures.
It's that samurai code thing, you know. He really does that Edo period sort of samurai code thing. We've seen in a lot of Japanese movies, Kurosawa, you know, this sort of
like
thing.
all about honor and kind of
yeah.
There's a lot actually I learned about like the time period as told through the comic.
It's based on a real character, Musashi. Is it? I can't remember the guy's name. I downloaded the audiobook to listen to, and it was 52 hours. Yeah, I downloaded the audiobook of that, and it was 52 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. Beast. I started on they did a manga adaptation to it. And I started reading that, and I was like, okay. I mean, he comes across as a psychopath in it, which I imagine
that's good.
He pretty much would be.
Yeah.
But Stan Sakai, obviously an absolute legend.
Yep.
Yeah. Has he got the record for the most Eisners at this point? For his lettering, I think, mostly, isn't it?
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
What an achievement.
And it's another one of those fascinating concepts for me. I always find it fascinating, and I'm very pro doing this, but that the art itself having that, like, you can call them a cartoonist. Do you know what I mean? There's a sort of cartoony vibe to it, telling a very real story. You know, a very real. You know, people die, but there's still these moments of, I open up one panel, he's falling over, and it looks like something out of almost a Warner Brothers cartoon. You know, he's going, you know, it's that there's still that joy in mix. You know, being able to. It's like comedy and tragedy, isn't it? You know. Yeah.
I mean, the light moments when it gets heavy, it makes it even more poignant because of the sort of the juxtaposition.
Yeah, it deals with death and stuff, but it's kind of, you know, a lot of young people can read it as well.
Yeah.
But what he does well is they do a lot of, especially in recent years, they've done a lot of detective stories where they're investigating who the murderer is and stuff like that in a town. That's really good. Yeah. You can expect if he's ever walking between towns, he'll be attacked by a band of brigands.
Yeah.
Every time.
It's that standard. Whenever Jessica Fletcher goes into a town to promote a book, someone's gonna fucking die. Yeah, you're gonna death that woman.
Yeah, yeah. He gets a bit as well. You know.
Yeah,
he gets a bit. Oh dear, but no, wonderful. That was
good stuff.
Fantastic gift.
I'm glad you liked them. Yeah.
Heartwarming.
I like buying comics-related gifts for people, and Usagi was easy for you because I've been going to you. What are you racist against rabbits? I've been saying to you a lot, and Dan's was just easy because it's that was an easy one. There's loads of extra bits on that, aren't there?
Yeah.
God, yeah. These are the kind of toys that, like, when I was a kid, I looked back at some of the G.I. Joe and Action Force figures I had as a kid. They're like, they look terrible. Like, if this would have been back in the day, I'd have been absolutely fucking over the moon with it. Do you know what I mean? Because, like,
but also at the time you loved it them, though.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
They're so good, these action figures now. They're usable as artists' model for, you know, posing as figures and stuff, aren't they? You know,
yeah.
Or like some artists, they just cut and paste them into comics.
Just take pictures.
If you're doing an alien comic, just take a picture and stick it in.
Question is though, Dan, are you going to take it out of the box?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I put him on the shelf behind me, so when you're on the pod cam, you can see him.
Oh, pod cam.
On the OnlyFans cam, we can see him.
Dan's a cam girl.
Only Dan's.
Oh, yeah.
How many buff to get on that?
Oh, talking about value for money. Obviously, there's lots about comics to love from the past, the present, and the future. So, taking a leaf out of Charles Dickens' book, the ghosts of comics past, present, and future are just here to, not to scare you or to warn you about things to come or to change your ways. These ghosts are here to sort of say, maybe check this out. Give this a look. If you want something that's just going to make you smile and, just reinforce the love of comics, or just some great things to check out, that's what we're here for. Especially this week, as this is the last show, last pre-Christmas show. So, basically piggybacking on that concept, past, present, future. That's what I've done. I just very simply came up with that concept and then threw it at these two and said, here you go, have a think about that. And that's why we're here now. So, something from the past, chaps. Now, Tony, you've got something specific, haven't you?
Well, yeah, only that when you said to me, I sort of thought, I don't know, I wasn't completely sure about what concept we were going for, so I had to make it right first in my head. But I sort of, in the spirit of the show, there has been the odd moan about the state of Marvel Comics, and I personally read probably the worst Avengers comic I've ever read this week, and I thought, I'm going to go back, going to read those comics that like fucking made me love this comic, made me buy it since. I've never not bought an Avengers comic. So, which has been great a lot of the time and not so great more recently. So I thought I'll go back and find a comic that really, really sparked my imagination. And I went back and read the absolute classic. It was actually prompted by a conversation on the Slack a couple of people were having about John Buscema, and a conversation we had with Tommy Guns on the Make-A-Wish Kid WhatsApp about the Black Panther costume. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The new design.
Yeah. They're just fanning around with it, aren't they? They do what they like, but
Yeah,
and I said I really prefer that sort of classic, sleek Black Panther look. And it made me think of Avengers 58, Even an Android Can Cry, written by Roy Thomas, art by John Buscema, ink at George Klein, letters Sam Rosen. I still think this is the greatest Vision story ever told. Never mind all that nonsense with him having a family and living in Washington. This was almost his origin. I think the previous one or two comics he'd started in them, but it does tell his origins and the connections that have been fussed and mussed and messed and about a bit with Wonder Man as well. So Wonder Man's in this, not in his red jumpsuit, but in the costume previous to that. Do you guys know that one with the sort of the green costume? The Wonder Man one.
I'm not completely.
He's got sort of goggles in it.
Yeah.
Who's another fan? I'm another fan of it. So the thing about the Vision is that he doesn't get the credit, because I know this idea was probably taken from elsewhere, but he's basically Data, isn't he? From Star Trek.
Yeah.
He's an android who wants to be more, and he becomes for young Esmond. He became the focal point of a stranger in a strange land in the Avengers. He was that stranger. He wanted to be accepted. He's that powerful dude, but people shun him because he's an android as well. They don't know what to make of him. They know he's got these connections with Ultron. They know he was sort of almost posed as a villain fighting them when he first started. There's a romance thing with Wanda, which begins to start bubbling away. But this is the day that he joins, and Cap kind of pushes people into having a fight with him to test his power, test how strong he is and stuff. And he punches out Giant Man. Cap dives through him because he's got this ability to turn intangible, isn't he? And he almost stands toe to toe with Thor. Thor ends up punching him and sending him across the room. But that's pretty, at the time I'm thinking, wow, this guy's pretty impressive. I think you need to go back and look at it, because Buscema is absolutely on the top of his game for me. And you got to remember that John Buscema has been quite vocal about he didn't really enjoy drawing superhero comics. He preferred Conan, which I suppose is kind of where you guys would know him from best, I'm going to say. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Buscema, you could easily say everyone looks the same, and they kind of do, just with different coloured hair often. But there's a real impact to his. He like people like Kane and people like that, Gil Kane. He knows musculature. He knows how to show strength and impact and power in a punch and stuff like that. But they him and Roy pin down the character. So you got like a sarcastic Hawkeye in this, who was kind of long before, you know, all this sort of bro stuff and all the nonsense we get in the movies. He was this angry, sarcastic, humorous kind of character in the Avengers. You got Iron Man sort of pissed off. Thor is manipulated because he's, let's face it, his blood's up in it, but he ain't that bright, is he often? And you got the Black Panther landing and leading the reader through the story. There's so much in this issue to read. There's flashbacks, there's fights, there's personal stuff, there's dealings between the Avengers, other villains appear, the Enchantress appears as well. It's really good. And the big point of this is the last page. So the Vision's been through a lot. He's been through all this. He's not sure who he is. He's got the mind. They kind of given him the mind of someone else, or have they? And he's the body of someone else, or is he? And he goes off to be quiet for a minute, and just a single tear goes down his cheek. And I think they say as much in Avengers 58 with what happens to the Vision all the way to that impactful last page as they do in whole seasons of Star Trek with Data, you know. It's really good. I love the Vision's early design. I think the same as everything, they sort of noodle about with things now, don't they? You see like little, you know, almost like they're wearing armor, you know, lines down everything. They over design characters, I think, a lot of the time. But with this, you used to look at it, you think, is that a costume or has he got red skin?
Yeah.
You know, it's actually quite a shock when they took his sort of cowl off and oh no, he is a red person. You know, stuff like that. It was just very, we lose that, don't we, now, when the new character, because we're old and cynical and stuff, when the new character's introduced in the comic, I was so excited by it back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
it's kind of dumb. Yeah, because there's a new character interacting with these beloved characters that you know and love. Do you know what I mean? Like Cap Thor, and like, oh, what's his character going to bring to the table?
Yeah.
So like it's heightened, isn't it?
Yeah. How's he going to mess with my favorite team? And, that sort of thing.
And also the fact that this guy could become one of my favorites.
Yeah, and is now. He's one of my favorites. Yeah, definitely. I loved the Vision and Scarlet Witch miniseries, both of them that we got. I loved the West Coast Avengers and the Burn stuff that they did with him, and really good.
With that intangibility, he's well powerful, and like it adds another character, like an interesting personality to be able to write that kind of like Data, like cold, emotionless robot thing. Is not all cold.
But I know what you mean. There is that, but the reader knows.
Yeah.
The reader knows there's more.
Yeah,
it's almost like the reader's in on the secret. And I put the last page, even Android Can Cry, up there. Not quite as good for me, but up there with This Man, This Monster, when the thing's standing in the rain on page 1.
Yeah,
you know, I just think Marvel was so good at communicating personality and character back then.
Totally.
Just brilliant, you know.
Totally,
yeah. So go and look it out. Do yourself a favor. It's on the app. You can find it on Comixology. You find it everywhere. I'm trying to remember where I first read it. It might have been in Treasury Edition, I think, maybe. But you can find it all over the place. So it's Avengers 58, Volume 1. Make sure you do Volume 1, Avengers 58. When you think this was only the 58th issue of Avengers.
Yeah.
And already you've got such a lovely history of them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good. Yeah. By the time we get to issue 58, we'll probably only have had 2 stories, wouldn't we, by now?
Yeah.
Yeah, really long form kind of.
Yeah. That's my one, guys. So yeah.
In terms of looking to the past and like to sort of piggyback on that, and this is in no way a sort of like things were better when it was like this. This more like also an exercise for creators who haven't, like, especially younger creators who haven't seen these comics and stuff, is to go back and to just pick up an issue of something, see if there's something you like in it. And for me, what I have been enjoying is going back into some of the British weeklies, like from when I was a kid, like or just before, not like the 50s and 60s, but certainly like the 80s onwards, and so I would say to any creator out there, and not enough people talk about this comic anymore, I think, is Eagle. What that used for me, that used to be a big title.
You and the Don.
Yeah, it was a big title. And it was. I mean, there was the Eagle Awards, weren't there? Like, you know, when comics were in Bristol, you know, they had lots of things like that. There was
ran for donkey's years, Eagles.
People obviously think about Dan Dare, and certainly that can be your go-to if that's it. But I say, pick up one of those old issues from a comic mart or wherever you find, maybe in a charity shop or, you know, one of those, a thrift store or anything like that. And what you get is a weekly, you know, the classic UK weekly comic. It's, for a lot of people, it's oversized, isn't it? It's not it's magazine sort of size, isn't it? And you get you get 6 stories in there, 6 or 7 kind of tales in there. I think maybe 5 or 6. I can't remember. But there's lots of different styles of, you know, there's some horror stuff going in there. There's science fiction, and never mind, like when we look beyond, obviously we've all watched the documentaries or we've all read the Wikipedia or been on the Google, and we know that when you go behind the curtain or you learn the magician's secrets, that yes, these were just publishing exercises. You know, we know that these issues had to be made for this, these teams were put together for this, and blah 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 blah. Take all of that out of it. Take everything you know out of it. Pick up an issue and just see if there's a story you like. And you never know when it might catch you. One I'm intrigued to sort of discover. Sounds strange saying discover about comics that are now got that wonderful dirty paper smell, but you know what I mean, you can still discover at any point. I've been thinking about reading Doomlord. When I was a kid, wasn't really interested in it. It was the title that I was like, nah, I've got my other ones, and obviously people know about Stormforce and the battle thing, you know, the battle and action force, blah 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 blah. But Doomlord was always there, always stuck in my mind. I didn't know, for instance, Alan Grant and John Wagner like kicked it off. You know, now that I know those names, I'll probably read it differently.
Close personal friends of the pod.
Eric Bradbury, I certainly remember that art style going through it. But what was the story? You know, I know it started as photo comics that became inked sort of weekly tales, and it's not about anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong. There must be a rights thing. There must be some sort of publishing rights thing, because this thing, you know, you just go on Wikipedia and it says it ran until October '89.
Yeah, I don't know what the situation is. I know a lot of books are slowly being put out, aren't they?
Yeah.
At the moment. Yeah.
But it is, you know, I remember coming back from a comic mart a couple of years ago, having a bunch of Eagles, and on the bus, didn't want to go through all the raft of other comics I had to go through. There was just this pile, and I thought, I'll just pick up one of those. And Doomlord just really struck me. It was a real, oh wow, I saw it on a whole new level. So I don't need to tell the people who love vintage comics, go check out some vintage comics. We're going to anyway, aren't we?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. We're going to rediscover those strips we used to love. Or, you know, maybe you haven't read it for a while, so then you just rediscover it again. I would advise any creators out there, sort of newer creators, to maybe just take a shot on some of these little anthologies, whether it be the UK ones or, you know, maybe if there's something similar in the States. Something you're intrigued by is on your periphery of your vision, because you never know what might influence you or inspire you, because there's a lot of these titles. They were running for years, and when the kids were buying them weekly, they were enraptured by them. Absolutely just loving the stories, doing the fan art and sending it in and getting it printed. You know, these things have merit. We may look back and go, well, that was a bit silly now. Sometimes you just got to see it for what it is and still enjoy it. Because
there's no area of comics that is more forgotten than British weekly comics.
Yeah.
No, totally.
You know, people know more about manga in this country than they do about Valiant or Warlord.
Yeah. And, you know, it's maybe an exercise for the new year, if you can. Even if you like just all of that stuff, just pick up a weekly issue. It might not be for you, but when you go to a comic mart, if you see them on eBay, they're only a couple of £.
Yeah, see him in a charity shop.
Yeah,
Pick up loads.
and you know, I mean, I've eBay purchased quite a few for the collection, and they're surprisingly good nick, a lot of them as well, which is a joy to see. So just pick a cover, and they had such wonderful covers, didn't they? Weekly, you know, because if you got to think, never mind every month being on a shelf to try and get your attention. Imagine that every week. You know, it had to be a different story on the cover every time.
I mean, Tiger or War of the Rovers, these sort of books, you know, they were.
Yeah.
People fucking loved them.
Yeah. People don't understand. Roy and the Rovers, enormous comic. It was enormous. Obviously, in this day and age, that's what comic can't really exist.
Go follow Barry Tomlinson on Twitter, because he's always
Yeah.
putting great covers out.
Yeah.
You have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because I don't know that Roy the Rovers completely passed me by because although I was into comics, football just wasn't my bag.
Yeah, it was
So
very
I
much
never
the
remember it.
last thing that I would read in the car on a trip or something, you know, if there wasn't anything else
It hit
available.
me at the phase when I went through my liking football phase when I was a kid.
Who was your team?
I had several different. I was changing all the time. I wasn't a proper football fan.
Yeah.
But you know, and it was also especially the 1990 World Cup because Gary Lineker was in Roy the Rovers.
Oh yeah, I watch like some of the international tournament stuff, but there's kind of the national game was not really.
Yeah. But that was front and center on the newsagent shelves, you know.
Yeah.
And that was big guns, but yeah. So, you know, maybe take a look back. Maybe if you want to do a sports comic, have a look at something like that. It may seem random, but there's storytelling going on in there that might help.
I mean, we've had MMA comics, haven't we?
Yeah.
I wouldn't call wrestling a sport, really. It's kind of one, isn't it?
Dare you?
No. they even class it as sports entertainment. So.
Oh, do they? Okay, right. Yeah.
But it's interesting because the idea of doing like a sports comic, I'm kind of like, I'm not sure about that. But like, obviously the manga, they
love it,
every
and the tension's
sport
inbuilt.
covered.
The storyline's inbuilt to the game, isn't it? You know, it's like,
Because if you think about it, it's a
Johnny
one-on-one,
Cougar.
like just like a Dragon Ball Z would be a one-on-one fight. You know, building up to that. The sports games like a tennis championship. It's exactly the same thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Just game. It's just Game of Death, isn't it?
Yeah.
Game of Death's a sports comic, a sports movie in a way, isn't it? You know, it's like
yeah. It'd be interesting to see. I think over the next year, we'll talk about it.
With that fence, didn't we? What was that? With that fencing comic at one point?
Yeah.
There's been a few things.
There's lots of them, and certainly in a lot of bookstores, especially like the young adult graphic novel section. You know, those ones that are published through actual sort of book publishing houses rather than
Scholastic or someone. Yeah,
Scholastic.
Yeah. There's horse riding comics or something.
I've seen a few there, really well put together books that are sports based.
Well, if he's got an insight into the actual sport itself, and like the person who's writing it has competed, that is inherently interesting.
You got personalities, you got rivalries, you got competitions, you got cliffhangers.
Yeah.
You know, it's all there. It writes itself in a way, doesn't it?
Yeah. So you know, certainly if you're thinking, I've got my sports comic, I'm gonna look for influence here. Also look back, you know, because influences can be found out anywhere, but you might not think. I mean, you might not be into football, but there might be something about the way they tell that story that appeals to you. So that's for me the British UK weeklies, and as Tony says, like there's a lot of characters and strips that are completely forgotten about and won't get collected. They won't get reprinted.
It's just not the audience, is there? For a lot of them?
There's no audience for it, but I think there is an audience that will find some joy out of reading some of these, and I'm sure there's sites where you can read them, and people have, you know, scanned some of the old ones, etc. Sheaf is the main man for that. So what's the name of his website?
The Don.
Yeah, the Don.
Boys Adventure. It's
Boys Adventure Comics, isn't it? Boys Adventure Comics?
I think it might be.
Apologies, Don, but
sorry, mate.
I mean, he is.
I look at it almost every day.
He is the expert, and always a joy talking to him. But you know, there's a reason that the British comics were still going all the way, you know, all that time, because weekly comics. And when I say weekly comics, I will also say look beyond 2000 AD.
boysadventurecomics.blogspot.com.
That's it. Check it out. Brilliant site. But obviously, 2000 AD is always the name that people mention. My advice would be look beyond that. As much as we love it, look beyond that to the Eagles.
But even if you
Tigers,
just like
the
sci-fi,
battles.
you've got Tornado, Star-Lord,
Yeah.
Starblazer. There's loads of other stuff you can look at. Yeah.
And sometimes just go for the art, even if you don't like the stories, because some of the art in that, forget about it. Just absolutely forget about it. Absolute legends working on some of those books. So that's my one in terms of Christmas past.
Danny
My
boy?
one is going to tie into the gift that Tony got me.
All right.
I've been reading through the old G.I. Joe stuff. Only like 2 or 3 issues a week, and I'm almost
Trim stuff and
like the classic Larry Hama kind of right from the issue 1, and I'm all nearly up to the point where they do the infamous silent issue, and it kind of from that point on it kind of finds its feet. But again, it's like reading these issues; they're very much one and done. Like you could pick up any issue of G.I. Joe there and just kind of be like that old ethos. This is written to be someone's first comic. You could do that with this, and it's not a problem. It's all the characters get introduced. It's just like you be in it, and it's like, yeah, this is fucking great. It's just real good, old school comic fun. I mean, it's a shame. I try not to look back and like in those kind of rose tinted glasses, but I've got fond memories of reading this stuff when I was younger, and just absolutely loving it, rereading it loads and loads of times. But I don't know about you. I read that new one, the issue 301, and I was kind of like, yeah, I don't know. It's
Okay.
kind of
It suffered. I mean, for me, it suffered not through like anything in terms of the way it looked or the way it read. It was a classic case of I hadn't read 300 issues up until that, so I was kind of lost.
I was kind of hoping it was going to be what they've done with Transformers.
Yeah,
Kind of like a reboot of sorts.
I think we might get that in some of the individual comics, with
The Duke one.
Yeah. I think we might get some of that.
I've got that on order, so I'm interested to see how that one plays out.
Yeah,
that's I've got the first few pages of that in the back of the reprint they did of the G.I. Joe 1 that I bought a couple of weekends ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because presumably that's what we're going to do. Like it's going to be the Energon Universe G.I. Joe, and
I guess.
there they go.
I think they're separating 2 of them, aren't they? One of them's going to be Energon, the other's not. Is that right? I think.
Okay. I'm not too sure about that.
No, I don't know. I've only heard that secondhand.
Yeah.
That confuses me just hearing it.
Yeah, no.
I'd be kind of reaching for the
sounds like a sales mistake. That
I'd be reaching for the Transformers trade over the G.I. Joe one in regards to that, because I was like, oh, okay, zombies. I'm not sure about this.
Right.
I think it's kind of, when comics are around for so long, they start putting in like wackier and wackier concepts at times, or they can do. And sometimes I was trying to think of a term for it, because in films and TV, you got Jump the Shark from the famous episode of Happy Days where Fonzie's like water skiing, and there's a shark in there and he jumps over it. And it's like, you've gone so far from fucking what Happy Days is about that it's just parody how stupid. I'm sure there's got to be a term in comics that's something similar where you've just like, this one, you don't know what to do with this anymore, and you've done something.
No matter
everyone
what
becomes
it is,
a Venom. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be, yeah.
But I think if you do coin that online, you'll be accused of being toxic, so you can't.
Hater.
A hater. Yeah.
Haters.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's I mean, there's a lot of good comics in the past.
Yeah, of course there are. Yeah, and there's never been a time like when I was a kid, and if you missed a comic at the newsagents, you were like really pissed off because you knew you'd never see it again.
That's it. Yeah.
Unless you were lucky enough for your dad to take you to a comic mart.
Yeah.
But now you can find it in 2 seconds online.
Yeah.
Yeah. What times?
Just jump online. We jumped on when we said we're going to do this Hitman issue. It was on Kindle Unlimited, £1.50 for the comic.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
Just blaze through it. It was a really, really good time. I really enjoyed it.
That's why I'm enjoying the Marvel and DC apps at the moment. That's why I really am.
I'm kind of I'm in an hour. I think I'm definitely going to go with GlobalComix for next year, because the work you were discussing that before the start of the show, and there is issues, but generally GlobalComix is a good fucking great service essentially.
That nicely segues from the past to the present.
Yes.
Obviously, this one is. I mean, we talk about comics in the present on a weekly basis. So certainly go back and check out some of our previous episodes. No, I'm only joking. And like for instance, we could list lots of the books that we've talked about in the year, but we're going to do that on our next episode talk about our
What are we doing next week? Is it top 3?
top 3. Yeah.
Top
Yeah,
3.
I guess,
okay.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
God, it's going to be hard work.
Yeah, I'm so glad we've got the ACP recommends.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Craig.
Shout
Yeah,
out to
yeah.
Craig. Yeah. But in terms of like the comics present and things to be thankful for and to look forward to this particular time of year in comics, I think, Tony, you should go for it because there's a particular thing we want to talk about.
Yeah, so this was nice. So I want to focus in on the triumph that has been part of the ACP community this year, spearheaded by our buddy Eamon Clark from the Mega City Book Club. Is DUI 3 was an absolute triumph. It's now sold out. We got virtually no press on that book, did we?
No, virtually none.
Virtually nothing.
I think we had some sort of friends in some places who kind of mentioned it, but
yeah, that was about it. But we sold out very reasonably quickly compared to a lot of small press books. And Eamon sent us the total through that goes to the mental health charity Mind, £1,033.
brilliant.
That's good. I mean, it's around about 3,000 we've raised over the course of the 3 issues now. Along with Sarah, who edited the first one, Sarah Harris, Eamon edited the last 2, and along with everyone else who's given their time freely to be involved in it.
Yeah.
And for something current, I'm going to say let's not make this the end of helping out Mind.
No.
I produce a couple of comics a year extra that raise money for Mind as well. They're a great charity. You can go to mind.org.uk and donate there. I was looking at their website today. I saw they've spoken to 23.3 million times people have contacted them this year.
Wow.
Man,
fucking hell.
that's a lot, and that's more likely going to go up.
Yeah. And it's a time where people can be lonely, can be sad, can be upset, can be abused over Christmas and New Year. So go there. You can find, if you're also on the gram like we are, go to Mind a Charity on Instagram and you can follow them there. And they put out like nice little sort of mindfulness tips and stuff like that. Awful lot of time for these people. Yeah. Great people, really friendly as well. So well done to Eamon, well done to the community. You should be rightfully pleased yourselves that this is sold out and you've done it for the right reasons. And nice little chunk of change sent to Mind. So there you go.
Yeah,
that's great.
That's my current one.
Yeah, always got to celebrate what's good when it comes to just charitable work, especially at this time of year, but at any time of year. And Mind is just fantastic. You know.
And thanks to the people who did buy a copy.
Yeah.
If I haven't thanked you, then I've just missed you out because I'm not seeing everyone who's buying it. But
there are people who have bought the anthology, who may not have read the anthology, who won't be listening to this episode, but thank you anyway because your money has gone to a good cause. So it doesn't.
I put it in my work Slack group, and someone bought it for their niece for a Christmas gift.
Oh, nice.
She's quite arty at university, and she thought she might like it. So
nice. I put it in my work WhatsApp group, and loads of people bought a copy. Yeah,
that's brilliant. That's great.
Yeah. So obviously, stay tuned as like DUI isn't gone, and obviously on this show we're very much about like helping out charitable causes. So over the next year, just stay tuned for when we announce things like that because you know.
So the first charity, Refuge, was when Sarah promoted it, edited it. The second one was it Cancer Research UK, Eamon's first year, Eamon's second year was mine. So they're the 3 charities we've made money for so far. And I think there's a lot of people who talk about mental health online, and nice to see that the ACP community actually did something about it. Yeah. Well done, everyone. Yeah.
So
and thanks for everyone who contributed their time and skills to making it.
Yeah.
It's no small effort, as we know as comic creators, to put together a comic. And I know we said it before, but hats off to Eamon because this one was a real beast.
It gets bigger every time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's
kind of like trying to corral cats. It's like very tricky.
Yeah. But I think to piggyback off talking about the community, for me, and I know we say it, we won't say it so much at the end, I don't think. And like I say, in terms of comics to check out, stay tuned for next week because we'll be naming a whole ton to get your pens and pencils ready for your wish list then. But I honestly, the ACP Slack community, wholeheartedly, because I can say this because it's got nothing to do with me. I'm on it, and that community obviously because that Slack group was created because of this show. But then we've had nothing to do with how wonderful the people are on there, the discourse, the discussions. I go on there just to read it. I'm not. I say this as someone that's not on there all the time, posting a lot. Just in general on social media, I don't anyway. But it's like a Thanksgiving episode, isn't it? But I am, in terms of comics presence, I'm ever more thankful and appreciative of positive comics communities, and discourse and discussion, and just people. A rising tide lifts all ships, doesn't it? Really, whatever.
Totally. Yeah.
And like work like the people pushing forward for the anthology, or people who have got their own comics. There's people from all over the world that are on that Slack group, and every single one of them is a massive thumbs up in my book, and you don't have to agree with anything that we say. You don't have to you don't even have to like us, but people on there are so nice and so
no bar or membership.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Everyone's welcome.
Yeah.
And like you often say, Dan, we've never had to moderate it.
No, it's kind of pretty much self-moderating.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people post stuff on there that I don't agree with, and there's been sort of like not crossed words, but it's adult conversation and not kind of you're the fucking worst of humanity, blah blah blah.
You're a Nazi.
We don't even have to say
exactly
the obvious of if things go on there that shouldn't go on there. That's it. You're done. We don't have to say it because that's not the sort of place it is. It's a really nice.
I've never had to give anyone a pull.
No.
No.
So I can say that like I enjoy reading that as much as I enjoy reading the comics. You know what I mean? Certainly the discussion that happens after every weekly episode. Certainly when people are saying check this out, or Troy, I believe, put me correcting me on something that I got wrong in an episode.
Fucking hell, we need a whole channel for
that's
shit.
A long fucking list.
Yeah. But no, I think there's probably, not probably, there is wonderful communities of comics readers, fans, creators out there, whether it be on Discords or maybe you've got your own WhatsApp groups or whatever it is. I'm just finding your group of people, which used to be going to convention or like sometimes going to a comic book shop, and obviously with a pandemic there was less of that, so some people are still feeling the effects of not being able to go out. They're not comfortable going out into social spaces, and I totally get that. To have an online place that's a positive place is really useful. So I think a positive comics community and the ACP Slack, which sounds like I'm shilling for it, but it's because I'm a fan of it. That would be my comics.
That's fun.
Comics.
And if you want to get on it, just give us a shout and we'll send you the link.
Yeah.
I kind of nodded off at the wheel when almost had a fatal accident regards to the the Christmas draw off. But
oh yeah, you've done that today.
That's going to be done, posted up tomorrow, and you're going to get to see who you're going to draw for. So if you want to do like a physical picture and send it out to them, you can draw that and then just post up the digital scan of it on. Oh, what should you do? Christmas Eve? Would that be the good time?
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah. Or do you want to do New Year's Eve?
New Year's Eve's fine. Yeah,
let's do New Year's Eve because it gives everyone a bit more time, I reckon.
Give more time to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good shout. Okay. Yeah, that'd be something to look forward to in the Slack. Maybe if you get in there, I've already done the draw, but any latecomers, if you come to it, like I might be able to pair you up with someone. So don't feel like just because it's all over, you can't get involved. You might be able to.
And certainly that's going to be a thread full of wonderful artwork, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Me and Cole Henley are still cracking on with our.
Yeah, they're great, man.
September. I fucked up today and missed out one, so I've swapped days on one. So my Skywalk, which I was supposed to post today, will go out tomorrow. So sorry I've let you down, myself down, and the entirety of the site
and
down.
also, it's probably already been posted by the time you listen to this, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm still back to the getting up at stupid o'clock.
You do a billion things. You owe nothing to no one. Don't fucking worry about it. Jesus Christ. When you said you were doing another fucking art a day, I thought, the dude's fucking
I know,
mad.
we do a whole year of it.
Yeah, I was trying to think what I can do for January.
Don't be... Look.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it.
Oh,
because I've started...
What's a good word to fit in with January? What is it? It's an X-Men related one.
Puzzling me.
X-Manuary. No.
That's a bit of a stretch.
When I said it didn't feel right.
Mutanuary. That
I
doesn't
could
work
draw every Jan in comics. I've got Jan. No, not Jen. Jan Waters. No, I can't do that.
You can't.
January.
I'm reaching out to you.
How about you do Gen 13 and you do January?
Jan 13.
Gen 13. You know the image book.
Yeah.
January.
Well, mind you,
but how many characters are in Gen 13?
Not enough.
Generation X characters.
Yeah, so you got Gen 13 and Generation X.
Generation X. I could do that.
Hang on, I tell you what, this is terrible content.
Yeah.
Just do January, and you can do all just mutants, don't you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Do a load of sexy lady mutants.
Yeah.
Or just draw Jennifer Aniston for every single day.
Yeah. As the various characters in
as Wolverine.
Yeah. Jennifer Aniston's Mr. Sinister.
Hang on, you need to give me a minute.
But my thing present goes to Christmas present. Which one was he in Scrooged? Was he the taxi cab driver? No.
Oh yeah, he was.
It was the fairy, wasn't it? The violent fairy.
Yeah.
Bill Murray. That's a strange. As a bit of an aside, the Scrooge, that's a bit of a strange one because he isn't sort of shown the error of his ways. He's sort of gaslit and beaten into thinking the way they want him to think, but he doesn't actually seem to undergo a change of heart. But enough about Scrooge. I'll rewatch that and give it a... I would say, like, there's a lot of kind of the comics discourse about, like, modern comics crap, this is crap. Like, there's loads of comics out there that are not coming out from the big two that are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's loads, absolutely loads. And people can get a bit sort of uppity about the Marvel DC stuff not being up to what they expect it to be. But what we've done on this show, and we'll continue to try and do, is highlight stuff that maybe you haven't seen. And conversely, like, if you've got titles you'd think you'd like us to check out, we're all ears about that.
Yeah,
I can't wait to pick up a new series that I'm thinking I'm going to love. And I often get messages off people off the Slack, DM to me, say, have you checked this out? And then I look at it and that is fucking awesome.
God, when a guest, sometimes we have a guest come on to recommend something and they name a couple of titles I've never heard of before. A little green light goes off in my head. I'm like, I need to write that down.
And also the wonderful world of webcomics. That's all still cracking on. And again, that's getting more and more varied, more and more different. And they're free, which is fucking great.
Yeah. If
you've got kind of like the Webtoons app, away you go, or various websites, you can look on Spider Forest or Collective of Heroes. There's the web is bursting with comics.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard not to kind of find one that you that doesn't fit your tastes and sensibilities.
Yeah.
And if you're a part of any of the creator groups on Facebook or any other social media platform you want to go on, they're also jammed to the gills with books. They're being crowdfunded or crowdsourced, or you can buy them directly from the creators themselves.
Like the webcomic thing as well. Like about 5 years ago when we were doing this show, it's like webcomics could be the future of comics. Webcomics are just webcomics now. It's now
part of the landscape.
It's just part of the landscape now. And it's always fascinating to see which ones take off and
stay the course. Or I mean, sometimes they do so well that the creators offered like a platform on, and they can jump onto a bigger thing, and they have to kind of leave that behind, which is always sad to see. But like if they're doing bigger and better things,
there's so many as well that I've sort of made note of that I just need to go back to the beginning and.
I mean, if you follow Rob Carey on Twitter, he posts up pages of like pitches he's done, and it's like, well, why didn't that get fucking made into a comic? That looks fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so kind of don't be too glum. There's plenty of stuff to kind of
yeah.
to get your head
Sometimes,
around.
like, it seems like that the people are always talking about the storm clouds over comics. Never mind. Take all the sales aside. There's still wonderful creative stuff being done there, and we're always looking for good stories and fresh takes on things. And there's certainly as we speak, there's a loud discourse going on about things that not going to get drawn into anymore. No. I'm now in the where's that next thing that's to go give me that shot of adrenaline in my arm.
I think people just like arguing online.
Yeah.
And it's got nothing to do with
weird.
comics anymore.
Yeah.
I do think some people are trying to do the right thing, and people just like to argue with them.
Yeah.
Boring.
I sort of made a rare post on social media recently, and with sort of like, now I'm just gonna post some. Here's something to check out. Here's some,
don't engage with it.
I don't want to get caught up in any of that stuff.
No, we do that every week.
Yeah.
We do that every week. So if people take notice of it.
So
that's a good thing.
So it's all about sort of paying it forward, and talk about forward, the future.
Are we on the future already?
Yeah, we are on. The future is now. Well, no, what I said just then is now the past. No, but it's the present. No, but let's talk about the. Oh God, but yes, the Ghost of Christmas comics future. Well, not necessarily Christmas. What great things are we looking forward to, like in the coming months, or what are we looking forward to seeing in the coming months? This is kind of an impromptu. I don't think we're going to have a proper big show about what's going to happen in the next. What we're looking forward to in comics. This is kind of a mini version of that. In terms of the future of comics, what has got you sort of buzzed or jonesed?
I can tell you mine.
Yeah, go.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got a number of things. Firstly, I want to see Dan get paid to do a comic based on that present I got him.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
Yes.
I want to see Vince get rinsed buying every single massive comic that Usagi Yojimbo appears in.
I have a feeling that
it's addictive.
That could
two of my, I can't say because it's not my place to say, but two friends who I enjoyed a certain now notorious dinner with in New York, in Bethesda, are thinking of working together, and I'm very excited by it. I think it'd be perfect. So I heard about that the other day. I'm always excited for anything new from Mr. Falp. We'll probably do a couple more things. We've got a couple of Tijuana Bibles in the, or as we call them, graphic gospels in the works. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with my stories. And I'm always looking forward to seeing stuff by Cliff, who just sends me filth daily, to be fair. and Daryl Thorpe. I'm always looking forward to seeing stuff. And I don't know if you've seen Daryl's new book. He put a copy of it in the Slack.
Yeah.
Did you get to see it, guys?
Yeah, I downloaded it. I haven't read it properly yet, but
no, yeah.
It's kind of like a silent comic. It's
gorgeous as always.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And he's kind of kept me in the loop a bit with it for a while, and I really do think it's good. I'm not sure whether he's stuck it out yet or not. I don't know. Do you know? Don't know whether it's live as it was, as it were. Yeah. Have you read it, Dan?
No. I've not read that one yet. No, it's kind of this week's been a real fucking weird one. I'm trying to get boxes ticked before Christmas, so my fucking head's been all over the shop. I haven't had a chance to read that one.
Yeah. To be fair,
as well as like doing his job, having his life, getting up at God knows what hour in the morning,
spending
drawing fucking Transformers, doing webcomics, fucking.
And spending 20 buff on pick and mix.
20 buff on pick and mix.
I've checked his Instagram, so I didn't know whether I was allowed to talk about it. But he's posted it on Instagram. I should know because I reposted it. It's called Drewser and Gumbo, silent comic. If you go to Mr. Thorpe, Forpe, then you can find he stuck the first few pages of it out. It's really good. Yeah, it's really fun, really different, done in a sort of square style. I'm really looking forward to that. I don't think I can say. It's amazing. I don't know what I can say about it because we've been talking about it for a while. But go and check out Mr. Thorpe on Instagram and you can see an example of it. Or if you're on the Slack, I think he sent a copy through for everyone to read.
He did, yeah. I've got that downloaded in my comics folder. So nice. I only read that this week and then shout from the hills about it.
There you go. Good stuff. Yeah. They're my ones, guys. Easy. Yeah. So get on with that, Dan.
My one is going to be I'm doing the third issue of Viper this year, so I've got
Oh,
planned
nice.
Oh,
two comics this year, and one is going to be the next issue of Vanguard, and then the second half I'm going to do the third issue of Viper, and then next year will be 2025. That'll be the final issue of Vanguard, pretty much. I think that's going to take the better part of the year because that's going to be a fucking massive issue. So the I've really got into the headspace of doing the third Viper comic. I've kind of
Oh, good.
it's just kind of flowing out all the ideas and the story. I've just got to kind of tighten up the script, but it's all there. I Matthew Bunt sent me the book for Airwolf, the TV series. Someone wrote a book
Well, like a
back in the
novel.
day. Yeah, like a novella of the first pilot episode.
Ah,
And
okay.
that just like it was like filling in holes I had in the script. It was like, that's fucking gold. That's fucking gold. Like just little bits. I was like, oh, bro, yeah, this is this.
you have to
This
call
is
you have
this
to call
is
someone Bunts in the next issue or something.
Yeah. I call him, but I got him in my phone as Buntsy.
it.
So,
Nice,
He's the
nice,
bunts.
nice.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to just more creating next year. I think I'm gonna try and keep on doing this one a day thing because it just keeps
hard
you.
work, man.
Yeah,
It can be a bit
especially the
tough.
work
You're
that
going to
you
put it
put in.
together. You're gonna put Joe Vember in together or anything like that.
I
Or
might do, yeah, but I
yeah.
wouldn't sell it because I don't like to make money off other people's IP.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I get you, mate. Sorry. Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah,
No,
What-
but I might put them together.
yeah.
yeah.
I think for me, the comics future, which is kind of exciting, past all the digital comics and everything, it's seeing creators' interactions through different mediums that are pushing beyond, like social media, for instance, is a strange way. So people are stepping away from certain platforms, moving to other platforms, or finding something that is a regular way to do it. And I'm interested to see, in a good way, the likes of Patreon and Substack. Like Substack,
I'm loving
Def-
Substack at the moment.
definitely very interesting. I think that's something that's going to, over the next couple of years, to go blur. But I think we're certainly going to see even more of it. I mean, I follow a couple at the moment. There's some fantastic ones. I'm looking forward. I
Should we
think over the
recommend
next-
one next week? Should we all choose a Substack to recommend?
Yeah,
You know what?
Yeah, that's
I've
a good
been
one.
so out of it on Substack because kind of like I feel like, oh man, if I start getting into this is another thing I've got to do every day.
Yeah, it's a.
And that's not knocking anyone that does one at all.
But
It's
that's
just,
part of like the interesting part of it. We're getting back into the a Substack being, the evolution of the email newsletter or subscription, that kind of. But there's more to it than that, and you can do much more with it. And I know certainly when it comes to comic creatives and creators, they're always thinking of how to twist and doing the bang for the buck. Which of course you can get with lots of independent creators on Patreon and stuff. I know we're talking about the Transformers stuff, but Dan posts up like work in progress all the time on his Patreon. So there is a real value to these sort of services. So I'm interested to see in the future how more creative people utilize those things, or certainly there'll probably be one or two new ones that crop up as this burgeoning scene moves into other areas, as I think we leave behind some of the old the burning castles of social media, which of course have been a very useful tool for publicity, promotion, creative stuff. They were, no matter what we say about them now, there was this show wouldn't exist without social media. So that is a fact. That's how
We got in a good time, didn't we, on it, I suppose.
Yeah. So there were golden days of it at a certain time. So as people move around, what will be the new thing? What is the answer? I don't think there's a definite answer. And I think as more people refine their ears to listen out for the creators that they like and they want to read, I think Substack and those sort of subscription services, those newsletter services, are going to boom even more in the years. I think
Yeah.
I'm more interested in the individual creators doing it than companies. And, I'm sure, and I'm not aware of companies doing it at the moment, but I'm sure there's all the publishers will have Substacks and things like that, or something similar. So it's going to be an interesting time. But I'm looking forward to it because I'm thinking of the most positive way that comics can move forward. Which we all should. We all should. Because at that time of year, it's been quite a year in comics, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a difficult year.
Mate, I always think this is it. This is it. This is the line. We can't go worse than this. And then fucking last week happens. You're like, Jesus Christ, if we can. So
I call it the Douglas Adams effect. People argue that black is white and get killed on the zebra crossing, and that's people are just arguing for the point of arguing, and they're killing off. You know what's killing off comics? The fucking idiots who spend their life arguing.
Certainly does not help one fucking jot.
But we're always here to try and spread some positivity, make you laugh. Usually when we're picking on each other. And other things in general. But what a year it's been, and there will be many years to follow. I'm also another thing for the future, and it's more around this show. As obviously we've had some new listeners jump on over the past couple of months, I'm looking forward to hearing some of those voices and sort of discovering new works, and even if you just listen to the show and you just like listening to the show.
Don't think you have to be interactive with us, but we won't bite your head off if you are.
Oh, totally.
I spend a good chunk of my day talking to people who are listeners and stuff, on various places, and I enjoy it. So don't feel like, I'm bothering them or something, because we're fucking not like that.
But certainly, if you have got a comic you're working on, or you wanted to release, let us know about it.
Get on the advice channel on Slack. Yeah. People are always posting in there. Yeah.
So, without further, we got some comics to recommend as well. We got any shout outs, gents?
Yeah, I've got a few. So, just a big shout out I got some gifts through this week. Very kind of people. Eamon, the aforementioned editor from the Mega City Book Club, there's a Death's Head episode just came out this week, which is very good.
Hey.
Thanks to Tom Curry, and thanks to Tom from That Comic Smell for sending me some lovely gifts, lovely Christmas gifts. How kind are they?
Oh, fantastic. Those guys might have sent me gifts because they're sitting under my tree.
Okay. Yeah.
I think there's one quick side. My wife gets a bit annoyed if I have more gifts than her, so that could play into it.
Do you want me to send her an action figure too?
No, because that's one up for her.
27th of January at Leatherhead Library is the Leatherhead Comic Con. Appearing will be our buddy Dave Broughton. Messaged me yesterday.
Dave is a fucking machine. He's been creating like mental this year, and he's
improving.
Really improving.
Yeah.
God, some of the stuff he posts on Instagram is bloody brilliant.
Yeah, he's a great person to follow on Instagram. Get on that and go and buy his comics. And also, I think some bloke called Brian Hitch is going to be there, but don't worry about that. Go and see Dave Broughton. Lawless has announced its dates as the 25th and 26th of May, 2024. Guests at the moment include Brian Bolland, John Wagner, Pi Par. There you go, Vince.
Yay! Really?
Yeah.
Doubletree by Hilton.
Yeah. Dan Cornwall, Connor Boyle, Mick McMahon, many, many, many more. And my final one, not my final one, but happy 60th birthday to Simon Russell, who was 60. I don't think he's going to hate me for saying that, isn't he? Yeah, but I met him for a coffee last week.
He barely looks old enough to drink.
He's dressed in his Dennis the Menace jumper.
No, he's not. That's a lie.
He don't look 60, to be fair, does he?
He's not.
No.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And also, thanks to the Earth 2 podcast, they did a sort of wrap up of the episodes that we took part in, and I haven't listened to the wrap up one yet. I've got it downloaded, ready to listen to tomorrow. But thanks, guys. And they do a great podcast. The Earth 2 podcast talks about they basically read through a Silver and Bronze Age comic and from DC, and it's great fun. So go and have a listen to those. And I do a great accent in the recent episode.
Nice. Now, I just want to do a quick shout out. And this is both a thank you and a mystery, but I don't want to call out any names right now. So, to the wonderful, generous person who didn't write a return address or didn't put their name in it, who gifted me the comic book story of professional wrestling.
By
Aubrey Citizen and Chris Marino. which is a hardcore, high-flying, no-holds-barred history of the one true sport, Tony.
Yeah.
And this is a glorious-looking book, great graphic novel. And I have been trying to piece together. There are several, like Cluedo. There are several culprits, and I don't want to. So whoever kindly gifted me this, please let me know so I can give you hugs and kisses, because this is lovely. But thank you very much. Came in a lovely envelope as well with a picture of Santa on it. So
Ooh.
I felt I had all the emotion. Dan, have you got any shout-outs?
Yes, I've got two. One that's kind of slipped under the radar is Dan Harris's Noir City Murders and Inktober Mystery.
It's great.
Dan Harris did this, the Inktober 2023, worked off the official prompt list, and he's made a full comic about it, which you can now back on Kickstarter. It's ridiculous. The digital one's only £3. That's like nothing.
That's good.
The physicals are £5. It's really, really well priced. You're gonna have to act sharpish though, because it's only got 3 days as we record this. So by the time you hear this, you probably only got about 1 or 2 days left. So do jump on that ASAP and check that one out. We've got coming in 2024. The Pen Guin presents The Bell.
Oh yeah,
ebook bow coming in 2024, as I mentioned previously. And that brings me to the end of my shouts.
in a truly dramatic fashion.
Yeah.
Love that. And speaking of drama, it's time to recommend some books that no doubt have lots of it. So, Tony, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so first one of mine is, again, as part of my reading challenge on GlobalComix, I went to the indie page and found Femme Fatale Anthology from you both liked the cover, didn't you? Dan did that sort of American Psycho, sent me the gif of that man making that face when I sent him the cover for this. It's from Dren Productions. It's an anthology about duplicitous women. Apparently there's some of them about. And great cover. Greg Bow and James Maskier are responsible for the cover. I think James Maskier is the editor. I think we've mentioned this many times before, but anthologies can be a mixed bag. I think we'll all agree on that. This is mostly hit rather than miss. There's a couple of stories in that I wasn't that into. An exception being, just a quick mention for Christina Harada and Yasta Goodman's. It's called "If I Can't Be Me," about the revelation of a woman who is a demon. She sort of pulls her skin off. Very simple shock story. I'm not actually sure what this comic says about women. I'm honest with you. They all seem to be after something else. And a woman taking her skin off and revealing that she is a demon. I'm not sure exactly what that says, or it does appear to have been written by a lady, so I think we'll give that one a pass. There's other highlights included Vindictive by Kang Jim and Pavis C, which looks, again, we're talking about Edo, Japan. It looks like it takes place in Edo, Japan, and a courtier is called into the chamber of the emperor's wife, and she's quite sexy. She's laying there looking at him, giving him the come on eyes. And she tries to seduce him, but he refuses, as his honor and his allegiance to the emperor won't let him do anything. And as he leaves, she tells him that he will regret his decision. So their husband then calls everyone into the chamber when he returns from his trip for a big meeting, and something truly horrific happens, encouraged by the wife influencing the emperor. Again, not sure if that's what that says about anything. Covenant, story by James Maskier, art by Mauricio Campantella. It's a science fiction story on it. I think it's probably got the nicest art of everything in it. That for me, this story, it tells a story about a bikini-clad woman appearing out of the water, appearing out of the sea, and she walks straight into a bar in a sort of swimming costume, and she gets chatted up by this rich dude who's there, acting flash, couple of bodyguards. He suggests they go back to his room, and not everything as he expects when he gets back there. So it's quite interesting. Little play on some robots and a bit of a heist thing going on. Dren Productions are a bit of a new one to me. Have you guys read anything by them that you know?
No, I don't think so.
No, there's a lot of companies like this in the States, especially, that we're just not aware of, are we? You know, they're putting comics out. They're putting them on platforms like Comixology or GlobalComix stuff. We're just not seeing them really. And I had a scan through their website, drenproductions.com, and there's some really interesting books on there. There's a book called Antichrist, which appears to have been a series of issues collected, I'm going to say, into a trade now. And that looks pretty interesting, and that's on GlobalComix as well. I think they're based in Maryland in the US. They were at Baltimore. I noticed from their Instagram that they were at Baltimore Comic Con, which is a shame because I didn't see them there. I must have missed their table when I was sort of wandering around in a daze. You can find them on Instagram at Dren Productions, and you can find them on Twitter at We Are Dren, Dien. Yeah, really interesting. So a little bit of cheesecake, a little bit of storytelling, a little bit of noir, a little bit of sci-fi, a little bit of fantasy. Works, different kind of storytelling techniques. There's no one there who we'd know. I've got to say, there's no artists, writers there that we would instantly go, "Oh, I've read his other stuff." It's all new to me, which I think is good. And I think that's the purpose of this sort of global comics project that I'm doing, is that I can find these new creators. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it felt like an old school anthology somehow, where everyone's been given a chance to tell a story. Everyone's got some storytelling chops to tell a good, interesting, twist in the tail story, but all different styles, which I think is what you need in an anthology. They're always seen by us as a sort of jumping off point for small press, weren't they? Anthologies, that's often where people would cut their teeth before jumping off and making their own comics.
Yep.
And I think we need them. Yeah, so it's called Femme Fatale Anthology. It's got a sexy Greg Bow cover. There you go. That's my first one.
Nice. My one is another issue 1, an image book that I picked up. It was fairly sort of thin on the ground in terms of, like, obviously as we get to Christmas, it always sort of thins out some weeks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And to try and find that sort of cover that will draw me in to be interested to a new issue 1 can sometimes be a little more of a challenge. I'll talk more about the cover in just a second, but the pick from my pick for this week is the Bloody Dozen: A Tale of the Shrouded College, issue 1. Now, the creators of this: Charles Soule is the writer.
Okay.
Alberto Jimenez Albuquerque is the artist. Rachel Rosenberg is the colorist. Chris Crank is the letterer. And they had 4 variant covers: 3 by Will Sliney and 1 by Albuquerque themselves.
That's a strange choice, getting the same artist to do 3 covers.
Yeah. Interesting. I believe that artist, though, was the creator of the first book in this series.
Okay.
Now, when I say that, I didn't know that this was part of a bigger series. This is one of the pro points for this book. Basically, I was sold by space vampires. Whenever you hear those 2 words together, you think, yes.
Life Force.
I fucking love that film.
I do as well.
Right.
Toby Hooper classic.
SAS versus vampires in London.
I watched it again recently, and it still fucking holds up.
It's a really dodgy channel of like really exploitative TV film movies on TV that I watched, and it was on there last night, actually. Funny enough.
When it ends in like
really
London's blown up and there's zombies everywhere. It's like, fucking hell. You wouldn't know it was going to go to that by the start of the film.
No. But in the Bloody Dozen, 3 down-and-out astronauts are tasked with the ultimate heist, breaking a group of deadly vampires out of a space prison orbiting the sun. Apollo 13 meets Blade in this killer thriller. We don't need that last line. I also was blissfully unaware of this series called The Shrouded College.
No, I didn't know anything about this.
No. Now, I just thought when I thought Bloody Dozen, Dirty Dozen, love that story, love that kind of concept anyway. A prison break, okay. Space, yes. Vampires, yes. Oh, they're in a prison that's near the sun, yes. There was just lots of things that sort of tick boxes. No, Charles Soule is obviously, as well as like some of his mainstream work, he's been doing a lot of indie stuff like curse words and stuff like that. He's been mentioned a couple of times with books on this, but this is another one. This was a really enjoyable ride, this one. A great introduction. Firstly, I loved the sort of Albuquerque's artwork had a real pace and energy to it. It's a story that's a setup for there's 3 astronauts, but at the moment Are the bloody dozen the vampires? Anyway, that's something I need to that hasn't been told in this issue. But there was immediately it opens up on 1923, 1,700 kilometers north of the Antarctic coast, the most remote location on Earth, and you see these people with hoods and goggles, and they approach this sort of this crevice, and within this crevice there's naturally a medieval castle that's absolutely surrounded by mutilated bodies, and these figures are talking about how someone managed to get out, and they need to put them somewhere safer. Immediately I had that sort of almost a pre-credit sort of style set up. I was like, oh, immediately the mystery was already sort of teased in. I don't quite know why who these vampires are there, why they've been jettisoned into sort of space. This is an alternate reality sort of Earth as well, because it jumps 100 years later, and you just got to take it with a pinch of salt, the sort of the astronauts they are, and the sort of their scientific technology. I'm sure when we get close to it, when you see the prison itself that these vampires are locked in, I just thought it was just quite cool. But they're like three sort of huge boxes. It kind of looks like a space station, but it also looks like a big cross. It's cheesy, but I kind of dug it. It's got to
be trashy in it. Horror films and comics have got to be trashy at some point for me.
So, and the way that it's built up, they've all got solar panels on the edge of them. I don't know how it would. I think you need to sort of suspend disbelief, because something being so close to the sun as that thing, the astronauts aren't going to get anywhere near it. But these the astronauts themselves are all related in some ways. There's sort of personal backstory. There's a lot of great emotive storytelling that's told with some action. There's some great action pieces. The main character is someone who is trained to be an astronaut, but her husband is the one that went into space and he died. And you meet her daughter and her father-in-law, who both have their own particular set of skills, violent set of skills. There's also the topic of drug addiction in this. It deals with some dark themes. It's a very it's a sort of the style of artwork, which I'm a big fan of. It feels like something that I've seen in Scout comics, or not necessarily.
I know we lost him a few weeks ago or last week. The cover reminded me of an Ian Gibson piece of art.
Okay. Yeah, it totally
like a Halo Jones thing.
Yeah. That there is, and I think it's the faces, isn't it? That kind of.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So I'm, as I always say with these issue ones, it's whether I'm going to be along for issue 2. I'm because I want to see where this is going. It's an image book. The only thing that works against this book and more people picking it up is the cover.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm getting it digitally, so I don't know what the variants look like. I don't even, they're not even in the back matter that I can see. There's some behind the scenes pieces. But the cover itself, there's that I can see of the one I got is the 3 astronauts sort of floating in space. Only one of them seems to have a helmet on. And there's sort of half of a red skull in front of someone, and behind them is a photoshopped sun. And like I say, the work done on the astronauts and the line work is great, but it kind of looks like this was cover 5 of 4. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This looks like a variant that's just been added. I don't want to think that this is the main cover for it, because it's not a strong cover.
It's a little bit dull. The main thing I've got with it is when you posted it, the cover, I'd not seen it before. Where do your eyes go to when you look at that? And your eyes go to the blank space in the middle of the page.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work like that.
No.
Yeah.
You there's that whole theory about if you draw an X on the cover and all this sort of thing, that's where your eyes go to, and it just goes to the middle bit where there's nobody there.
There's nobody there. There's a sort of a very sort of photo. The more I look at it, the more it looks like terrible Photoshop work. But there's
the moon, the sun. Sorry,
there's the sun, and there's a nice effect of like the gases coming off the sun, forming a skull. I get that concept, but have that as the cover, you know, instead of the astronauts. There's several different things going on that don't work together. Also, that figure with the white hair isn't in this book.
Oh right, okay.
Still don't know why they're taking their helmets off.
Yeah. So there's.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
And on top of that, the title, the design on the title, is lost and it doesn't stand out. When I say space vampires, vampire, space prison break with vampires, surely something like that you want big in your face. You know, you have the bloody dozen. I mean, that's a great
absolutely
title.
Sell it. Yeah.
Just absolutely bang. I know it's the Tale of the Shrouded College, which I'll get into in a sec, but surely this was tailor-made. You know, one of the reasons I read this issue, and I'm going to be brutally honest, is because there wasn't really much else in the realms of number ones,
right?
Especially affordable number ones. And when I found something that there was a little hook that I could jump into, I did, and I'm glad I did because I really enjoyed this issue, and I'm going to keep going with it. But it certainly wasn't the cover. The cover I could have gone past. It would have been lost, especially a digital thumbnail. Why on earth are you going to pick that instead of all the other raft of other ones? We'll have to post it on the Slack and stuff. I mean, this is nothing against the correct team because I think the book itself is great. I just think the cover doesn't do it justice.
Yeah, it's not standing out, that cover, is it?
No.
Yeah,
it's a shame.
No. And also, you know, there could be storytelling doing on that cover, but I'm not quite sure what it is.
I've posted that in the Slack.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, I've ordered, mate.
As for the Tale of the Shrouded College, here is another, like, Charles Soule has a prose bit in the back, and he says, "Welcome back to the world of the Shrouded College, or if you're starting your journey into this world with the bloody dozen, welcome to the world of the Shrouded College. In case you don't know how all this works, this 6-issue mini is the second of 6 6-issue minis that will comprise the majority of the Shrouded College saga. Each is a standalone horror.
I'm exhausted already.
Yeah, each is a. I know, but each is a standalone horror adventure with its own high concept. As you've seen, this one's Space Vampires Prison Break, while the first story, Hell to Pay. Do you remember seeing that one about? I remember that title, Hell to Pay.
Yeah, Hell to Pay.
Was Treasure Hunt for 666 Cursed Coins from Hell.
Hell to Pay? Like a hairpiece?
Oh, God, no, you should write that, Tony. That would be a demonic hairpiece. That'd be brilliant.
I've got a feeling that joke's come up before in this show. So it tells me.
Probably. We're never,
if it's a shit joke, it will have done.
We're never original. But it does. The main characters from each.
Don't overdose, darling.
The main characters from each of these ministories will be different, but all 6 stories take place in the same universe and will overlap from time to time as we build to the big finale, which will be the 7th miniseries. I didn't know. This is a pro for me for this book because I didn't know any of that, and I enjoyed this issue for what it was. I didn't need to read anything. I didn't know anything about this Shrouded College. There are hints to these figures with like masks over their faces. I thought, oh, that's clearly something. It did not take away from any of my enjoyment of this issue. So if he's going to do these sort of different stories and still build them like this, I think each of them has legs in it. Do you know what I mean? Because if you don't need to read them all, it'd be interesting to see how the audience builds up for something like that. Because if it was said, I didn't read it for A Tale of the Shrouded College. I didn't read it for that. I read it for the bloody dozen, which is exactly what I got. So check it out if you like this sort of stuff. It is great fun. There's great artwork, and it's definitely kinetic, and it is well worth your time. Despite these things I've said, this is I'm in it for more. So keep listening to the show to see what happens in issue 2. Because if I bought issue 2, it means I'm serious about it.
if Vince spends money on issue 2,
yeah. If Vince spends money. Oh dear, I love a club card. Anyway, Dan,
I bet you collect points in Costa, don't you?
I don't have a Costa card actually.
Oh my God, you're missing out.
God,
just get a whole wallet full of fucking loyalty cards.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yep.
Same way I love getting an email from everywhere I've ever bought something online.
every day.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, you got
Just-
to unsubscribe every day from something new, haven't you?
Yeah.
Dan,
I went to Comichaus for my comic, but I can't really say this as a recommend because I was new on Comichaus, and this one was at #1, and it's Suzie Spreadwell, America's Sweetheart. And
This has been on there a while, because I think
Yeah.
I read this a couple of years ago.
perhaps it kind of just, I don't know, maybe the someone kind of viewed it a load of times and punched it up to the top of the charts.
Yeah.
So it's by John Linton Robertson. And the story synopsis is: against this fallen world, Suzie has sworn purity to God, but visions of temptation threaten to get the better of her. Or are they visions? And why are Jesus and Satan always watching? Literally. So I kind
It
of read
sounds
that.
like a comic book I imagine somebody like Man versus Rock making.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I sort of read it and I
Well,
was
like
like,
instantly. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to. Is this real? Because I had to check, like, the author, like, did they actually think this is legit? Because basically, it's the story of like, this kind of older teenage girl who has fantasies about a flag climbs up the pole, and the Stars and Stripes turns into Satan and starts having sex with her, and she's trying to sort of say, no, I'm for God, and then she imagines Jesus being nailed to this flagpole, and she's kissing his sort of like crucified corpse.
Sort
Not
of
corpse,
usual
body.
Marvel DC book then, yeah?
It's a
Yeah.
classic story. So when I was
Sounds like an
I'm
Avery Hill book.
yeah, I was like, what the fuck is this? So I was like, I had to look up the guy. So is he just like a kind of hardcore Christian? He thinks it's like legit, but no, he's kind of like a small press kind of comics with an X creator.
Oh, good on him.
Like
Yeah,
deliberately how would you describe it? To get people's backs up, I'd
yeah. Right,
say.
okay, good.
So yeah, like if that's your cup of tea, you can read it on the Comichaus app.
Already I want to read it. I'll be honest with you. Already I want to read that. Yeah, yeah.
Amused, and she meets up with her boyfriend who's pledged to marry her,
I'm writing him a letter from Tribute Press as we speak.
and he starts giving her oral sex, and she says stop. It says it just feels too
Hammer
good for
time?
it. It feels good for it to be, it feels too good for it to be okay with Jesus.
Ah.
Yeah, so an interesting comment.
Interesting angle.
Yeah, maybe not one for the reading on Christmas Day with the family. It just goes to show the length and the breadth of the material you can get on Comichaus.
There you go. Good day.
amazing. Tony, take us home.
My final one, Astorial Compendium of Short Stories featuring Tamblyn, the Secret Architect. There's a title for you.
Yeah, man, fuck me, that's the title.
Yeah, by Ed Pinsent, who I met at the Satanic Flea Market a few months ago. £7.60, great value. Thank God. 44 pages, black and white interior, colour cover, saddle stitched, A4. Are you ready for a massively pompous and arty-farty declaration of what this comic's about? Hold your bums, because I don't want anything falling out. This is where Darlie and Ditko meet during an 80s black and white UK backstreet underground manifesto. Esmond wrote that when he was fucking feeling like a right wanker earlier today.
Tony, can I tell you something?
Yes.
You sound like a right wanker when you say it.
I know. Honestly, I'm cringing inside saying it. But I did genuinely. This is experimental and it's really fun, and I absolutely loved it. And I immediately went to Ed's website and bought another, I think about 20 quid's worth of comics off him, because I think he's great. For those that are not aware, Ed has been about in the UK small press scene for decades, long before me, as well as producing his own comics for quite a rate, to be fair. He is also known for running Fast Fiction distro between 87 and 90. His work has appeared in Escape Magazine, Knockabout Comics, and Honk in the USA. More recently, he's done some stuff for our buddies over at Colossive Press. Extremely prolific. If you go to comics.edpinsent, pinsent.com, you can find loads. It's a massive website full of loads of stuff, loads of artwork. You can read comics on there. There's loads of stuff going on there. I spent a good hour on there this morning looking through it. It's, as I said, it's very experimental, and it plays with unshaded black and white imagery. His character, this Tamblyn, the secret architect, dashes through panels seemingly at a fast rate of knots, and it's got a really interesting aesthetic about it, like very underground, but not as a lot of underground comics do, relying on sex and violence. It's just strange. It really, when I describe it as that sort of backstreet underground manifesto from the UK, that's kind of where I'm going with it. It's got that feeling of 80s and early 90s fanzines and, you know, photocopy comics and stuff like that we used to see. There was quite a thing, you know. A lot of people like Alan Moore and Eddie Campbell, and at least, you know, all these guys came up through that, which I really like. They're not easy to find, some of those comics, but I really like finding some of them and, you know, digging in a long box at home and finding something. A chunk of this actually dates back quite a long time ago, and it was from a collection of stories that Ed wrote for Other Eyes in the early 90s, but for whatever reasons it didn't sort of come off. There's an explanation in how the comic came about in the back of it, and after Ed's explanation in the back, you also get some examples of some of the work that did come through. I think some people didn't finish the artwork, or the project sort of floundered. But digging through some of his files more recently, a couple of years ago, Ed thought, "Oh, I'll do something with this," and and we got this. There's a mysterious character called Tamblyn, who is very much at the center of the book, and he's part of the strange layout. He's very much a part of the furniture, part of the architecture of this massive hotel. Pinsent describes it himself as my idea of the Astorial hotel, representing a house of infinite possibilities, a place where anything can happen, where there is an infinite number of rooms populated by strange guests doing inexplicable things. It's a really interesting one that I think you need to have a look at. Go and have a look at comics.edpinsent.com. The dude puts out more comics than Jesus. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
But there's an abstract craziness to it, which is where I went with the Dali thing. But there's also like that later years Ditko, when Ditko was just putting it all on the page, all of his thoughts and feelings, and there was something different about it, something really different about it. And I really enjoyed it. He's done a sort of illegal Batman book, which I think I talked about 6 months ago, I'm going to say, which is also fun. He's done a Superman book like that as well. What this dude ain't done ain't worth reading. There's loads of it. Go and get something. I bought something today, and so I'm hoping that's going to come just after Christmas, and I'll have a read of it then. I might well recommend something else by him. But I think Ed's been about for a long time. When we chatted, I think it might have been the first time. I think he was coming back into doing conventions and events at the Satanist event, and I was speaking to Simon Rust, I think it was, who'd been at South London Comic and Zine Fair, and he said he'd met him there. So I think Ed's back on the scene again, and he's never stopped making this stuff.
Okay.
Really interesting. I think definitely a good prospect for a future guest. I'd love to get him on and listen to what the scene was like in the mid 80s before a member of this podcast was born.
Right.
Is that right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it'd be really interesting. Yeah, and it seems like a super nice guy. Yeah, and we've chatted a little bit about stuff. Good. That's my second one.
Nice.
Astorial Compendium of short stories featuring Tamblyn, the secret architect.
Man, that's a fucking title.
Ain't it? It's cool, isn't it? It's funny though, because it's so ridiculous. It's funny.
Yeah,
that's what I like.
It sticks with you.
Yeah. And please forgive me for that fucking ridiculous thing I said at the start of this review.
Oh no.
You're forgiven.
Thank you.
It is the season. And of course, we hope you have enjoyed this festive episode of the ACP. If there's anything we spoke about on this episode that you want us to talk more about, or perhaps you've got things that you want us to discuss in the new year, please get in touch with us and let us know. It's going to be a fun year next year, and you never know who's going to turn up on this show.
On Glem in January.
There's several
Man,
different
that's
ways you
going
can
to be
get
great.
There's several different ways you can get in touch with us. You can email us awesomecomicspod@gmail.com. Catch us on social media, on X or Twitter, at the Awesome Comics Pod, and what is it on Instagram, Tony?
The Awesome Comics Pod. I don't know.
Catch us
is it becoming a thing where I don't know what this is now? It's becoming a thing, isn't it? I can never remember anything. I've literally just put the phone down from posting some stuff on there, and I don't know what it is.
Well, let me have a look.
It's almost the end of the year.
It's Awesome Comics Pod.
Yeah, I knew it was that. I was just testing.
Yeah.
That's
Oh yes.
I've not got a clue.
Because on the other one, it's the Awesome Pod. So I got it wrong myself. Basically, it's been a long year.
It fucking has.
But
really
we
has.
truly appreciate you listening to our drivel, whether it be on the website awesomecomics.podbean.com. If you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, subscribe, leave a review. It helps get the word out about the show. Everything that we talk about on a week-to-week basis, and all the creators and comics and everything in general, algorithms and the such. And if you listen to us on Spotify, leave a review on there as well. Really appreciate it. And if you listen to us anywhere else, Amazon, Stitcher, Podnose, Podknife, what are the networks we on, Tony?
We're also on the Pod Network. Hang on. So you're saying it was an angel that got you pregnant?
Damn it! I almost made it.
Back to the atheist podcast network. Yeah.
Speaking of which,
Fuck, I'm tired.
Where can people find us online, etc., Tony?
Neverondanything.com or in a corner somewhere.
Yes.
Cranking.
Why are you happy about that, Dan? Him being in a corner?
Yeah, he's quite happy that I was cranking in a corner. Are you watching?
Crying and cranking, and Dan was like, "Yes."
Well, if you want to send me that video, I'm fine. I'm all about that.
Well,
how much? Give me 20 buff, and I'll be fine.
Drop 20 buff on Tony cranking video.
Yeah. Making it rain. Buff is Dan Butcher. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Vanguard Comic, and you can read Vanguard at vanguardcomic.com, which comes back in early 2024.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. You
can and look out for the Secret Santa. They'll be out tomorrow.
Nice.
Good. Nice one.
Plenty to look forward to. You can find me on social media at Jester Diablo. To everyone who listens to this show, we hope you have a brilliant Christmas. It's been quite a year in comics. No matter what you've done, whether it be making them, reading them, just staying away from social media, being active on social media, dreaming about comics, whatever it is,
cranking about comics.
Christmas, we hope you have a great Christmas. Because
dropping 20 buff on comics.
We do love Christmas. We do love Christmas.
I fucking love Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas is great. Absolutely great.
I can't wait.
I've put together a bazooka. I sent you guys a photo.
Yeah, he has.
He's sitting on my desk.
Which is an action figure. He's not talking.
That looks brilliant. That's what he calls his penis.
But we look forward to hearing about what you read at Christmas and what you enjoyed. And we hope you have a safe, healthy one, no matter where you are in the world. And we really appreciate you listening to this show for the past year. But stick with us, because next week, just to let you know, as Christmas Day is normally the day that this show gets posted.
If you don't listen to it that day, you're not a proper fan. Sorry?
No. Well, we're going to be posting...
on Boxing Day, aren't we?
On Boxing Day, a day later. December the 26th is when the new episodes are going to come out. And
just don't row with your relatives, or,
No.
Go for go out there.
Yeah, if you're with them and you don't, at the time and you don't want to listen to them, then we'll be here for you. So until then, have a brilliant week. Have a brilliant Christmas. Read loads of comics. Keep making those comics. Keep telling people about the comics that they should be reading, no matter what time of year it is. From Dan, Tony, and myself. Well, what should they do, guys?
Stay awesome.
Stay awesome.
And festive.
And
bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you later.
Buff.
Buff.
Dropping 20 buff.